Welcome to 999, where what were we doing? Yes. I don't remember what we were doing. Let's check it out. Oh, that's right. This is the laboratory. That was the thing. So, yeah, Clover's stuck in there because she's dipshit. She walked in. And we haven't done anything here yet, so we'll figure that out just as soon as I put 2 on Red Dead really quick, because that's a thing. Hold on, let me do that real quick, and that'll put Red Dead in the lead. Yay! But what's up, Jedi? How you doing? Welcome to me still waking up, so get ready for me to say dumb shit for a minute. Red Dead seems very fitting here. Touche. Yeah. Bitch tits. Like, she is the embodiment of bitch tits, because she has huge tits, and she's a bitch. Better than June, though. Holy shit. Whoa. Okay. Junpei, do something, please. Quick, figure out how I'm gonna get out of here. Fuck if I know. Yeah, whatever. Okay, bye. You'll be fine. Can I break the glass? Made of really thick glass. I don't even think a bullet could break it. Never mind on that. What about this one? Is this one any? Whoa. Okay, yeah, I forgot about that freaky fucking thing. Is this like an examination table? There's a creepy mannequin in here, guys. The other 2 games, Squid? You mean Heavy Rain and Metro 2033. Metro 2033 is a first-person shooter, but it's not your typical first-person shooter. It's really good. And Heavy Rain is a cinematic game. So I have no idea, Treble. I don't know. I have literally no idea. I've never played this game before, so I have no idea what's going on. Creep mannequin in here. Okay, is that a crayon? I don't know what kind of table this is, but part of it's all black. There's a pin line over here. I think someone probably used it to make the table black. Well, they only used the pin or on one part of it. There's probably something underneath all that pin. That's accurate. Clover, do you think you can erase it? Yeah, sure. Oh, this is permanent marker. Junpei, do you know how to erase ink from a permanent marker? I mean, yeah, but I don't think it's gonna help us here. Erase ink from permanent marker, huh? Give me just a minute. I'll be right back. Well, not yet. I'm gonna check around here. It's a rack. Not as nice as Lotus's, but this one isn't as much of a bitch. All right, cool. Bunch of cables on it. Somebody cut the outer stuff off the cables. I can see the wires inside. Okay, so someone stripped the cables. I guess it's drainage for water. I was trying to click the cables. There's nothing here. I think this thing is a monitor for whatever experiment they were running here. There's a bunch of stuff on here, like resistance value and voltage. The power's off, so there's nothing on it right now. Okay. Wonder what they washed here. These are those weird colored... There are these weird colored stains all over the sink. Yeah. Wonder what this is. This thing here looks like a... Really? And this is the control for that? Gosh, there's so many dials. Hey, turn one of them. Nope, nothing. There's no power here, guys. I turned the dial a whole bunch, but even if I turn all the switches on, nothing happens. I'll get back to you. This looks like the control for an electronic door lock. There's a red light on the display. That means it's locked. If we can get that light turned green, maybe we can get Clover back. What about this one? This looks like the control for some kind of electrical lock. The red light is on. And it's locked, yeah. The green light just below it, although that one isn't lit. Yeah, if we unlock the door, it'll turn on. Yes, but how are we going to unlock it? There's no keyhole, no card reader, and no keyboard for putting in a password. I have no idea. I guess we'll come back to that, won't we? Yeah, alcohol will definitely get it off. The hands on the clock have stopped moving. The clock may stop, but time goes on. No time to screw around. We need to figure out a way out of here. Thanks. There's a lot of stuff here. I don't know how we could use any of these. Well, I can say for sure I do know how to use at least one of these things. Which one? The one on top. I think it's a power cable. Power cable? I'll take that. Oh shit, it's a PS3 power cable. Or monitor power cable if you use those. It's definitely a power cable. You remember if we ran anything that didn't have power? The whole fucking room. This is a really old type of keyboard. I think this thing's supposed to power that machine in the other room. It doesn't appear to be doing that. No shit. I wonder how we're supposed to turn it on. Well, over here, we don't use that kind very often. Come on. This is a keyhole. Looks like a keyhole for the activation key. Yeah, okay. That's nothing. All right. What about this stuff? I wonder what this cable's connected to. Okay, one side of this thing is in the room with us. The other side extends into the laboratory where Clover is. In other words, the console in front of us is connected to the device in the laboratory. Yeah, I figured that out. Okay, red and green. Let's see what we got with green. Oh. Ethanol. That'll get rid of the ink. I wonder if this is for... Oh, shit. Dropping shit. Ah, no. Don't fall. It says, anhydrous ethanol. Is that different from the regular ethanol? Why did you skip? Okay. Powerful cleaner. Erase marks left by a permanent marker. Yeah, I know that. Thank you, game. Whole bunch of steel lockers. The 9 on the right all have red lights on them. Can't hurt to give these babies a try. Of course they're locked. They're red. Yeah. I wonder if there's anything important in there. I mean, one would assume. What about down here? These lockers are a little larger. Let's see if there's anything useful in here. And no, nothing. Damn. This is the computer. The power isn't on. Well, there's a power button. This is a waste of time. What? I don't see a power cable. Oh yeah, you're right. No power cable. It's connected to the main computer though. It's got a monitor, keyboard, mouse, but that's it. Just sticking the power cable in isn't going to do anything. Oh, I don't know about that. Junpei, can we get back to what we were talking about, please? This computer doesn't have a power cable. I mean, I have a power cable. Don't say and. It's rude. You already forgotten what you just picked up? What I just picked up? This monitor doesn't have power cable. Plug it in. Plug it in. Plug it in. Plug it. Slip you in. Well, shoot. I can't use this. What's wrong? This cable has 3 prongs, but the socket only has 2 holes. Break the bottom prong off. It'll still work. It's not going to fit is what I'm saying. In other words, we're going to need a plug to change the power cable to one with 2 prongs. So now you're wanting to get an adapter when you can just rip it out. Why? Keyboard. The mouse. We got the power cable without the 2-prong plug and won't do anything. No. Well, I mean, even still, like, you just break the bottom off. It'd be fine. You're not supposed to do that, and it's not necessarily safe, but in a pinch, it'll do it. I'm working on it, Clover. I'm sorry. Where's the one where I could, like, look in there? Ethanol. I need to give her... Oh, wait. I could give her the ethanol through the bars. Derp. Clover, use this ethanol. You should be able to wipe off that permanent ink with it. What am I going to wipe with? Well, your clothes, of course. Ha ha ha. Kidding. Just kidding. Please don't look at me like that. You're scaring me. But I need to find you a cloth? Or is there one down here somewhere? Why don't you just do it? Clover, can you use the cloth on the... Oh, okay. Use... Huh? Soak it in the ethanol and use it to wash off all the stuff for the permanent marker. God. This is not hard. Well, she's got the cloth, but she seems to be having a little trouble with the bottle of ethanol. When she's ready, I should ask her to get to work on that stuff on the table. Do it. Soak the cloth in ethanol and... Junpei, it's working! Yes. Science, bitch. There's some kind of weird drawing under all the permanent ink. What's the deal with the drawing Clover found? Maybe I should ask her to take another look at the table. Why don't you just fucking tell me instead of make me click it 7 times? I wonder what this is. There are a bunch of numbers in some kind of grid. Oh shit, we're gonna be playing Sudoku. I can't see it from here. You got a pen and notebook, right? Could you write down those numbers and then hand them to me through the bars? Okay, Roger. Here, Junpei, I wrote down all the numbers from the desk here. This new material has been added to the file screen. Excellent. Well, how do I get to the file screen? File. The note Clover copied from the stand in the laboratory. It has 4 numbers written in 9 separate cells. 2, 3, 4, 1, 1, 2, 3. Oh, I see. I know exactly what that is. It's instructions on how to be a dick to your friends when you're playing tic-tac-toe. Awesome. These scientists were assholes, man. All right, well, not hard to remember. Is there anything else in here? Anything up with the mannequin? Something's sticking out of the mannequin's head, like wires or something. How are they doing in there? Why is she all quiet now? They were doing experiments on humans, probably. Oh, now she looks sad. Right. There's a lot of wires down here. Can you, like, steal them for me? How are the power cables over there? What do you mean? Does the plug have 3 prongs or 2? I don't know what you're talking about. Let me go look. Guess she does have to kind of crouch down to get a look under there. The cable on the monitor has, it's got 2 of those little metal things. What does that mean? That's it. Okay, can you unplug that cable and bring it over here? Okay, but, well, I can unplug it, but it's connected to the main computer. I can't take it over to you. Damn. Well, how about just the plug? What? The plug? Well, maybe more like a connector? It's sort of a thing that makes the plug with the 3 metal thingies into a plug with 2 metal thingies. Oh shit, well just take the adapter off then. Still useless? No, not at all. That's just what we're looking for. Can you hold on for a little bit? And back down she goes. All right, unplugged. I'll hand it over to you at the bars. Excellent. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Here you go, the 2-prong plug. Excellent. Put the 2-prong plug onto the head of this power cable, and bam! Did it. Now I can do thing. I got 2-prong power cable. Pretty sure this will work. Under the desk I go, and... Alright, let's turn the power on. I don't think anything's gonna happen. Why not? Well, it's not connected to the main computer. You never know until you try. Junpei pushed the button on the front of the monitor.
Oh, that worked.
With a soft hum, it turned on. Streams of letters that made no sense to Junpei began to scroll across the screen.
What?
He had hoped it would turn on, but he hadn't expected this.
Huh? It's running on its own?
It certainly looks like it.
Isn't that kinda weird?
What?
Well, it's not connected to the main computer, right? There's just this keyboard and monitor. The only cable connected to this thing is the power cable we just plugged in. So, why is it working?
Maybe it's a wireless display.
Clearly, this was a reasonable explanation to Lotus.
A wireless display?
Yes, it connects to your computer wirelessly, hence the name.
Normally I'd be like, wow, what a bitch, but Junpei, do you know, it's 2 words that make perfect sense on their own, and you put them together and they continue to make perfect sense. It's not hard to understand, dude.
Have you been living in a cave, Junpei?
He most certainly had not, but...
Is that normal?
Yes, at least where I worked.
Where did you work?
Oh.
Oh, it stopped.
Pass with a colon.
Password.
Looks like we need to enter a password.
Again? There must be a hint around here somewhere.
Could you go take a look?
Yeah, I'm on it. What are you going to do?
I'll see if I can do something about this on my own.
On your own?
Yep, on my own.
Lotus?
Lotus pulled over the nearest chair and dropped herself down onto it in front of the keyboard. For a second, she stared at the screen. She kneaded her hands, knuckles popping, and twisted her back, left, and then right.
Oh,
Boobies!
let's kick some ass.
Lotus smiled to herself and rubbed her hands together in anticipation. And he's definitely looking at her boobs. The Humble RPG bundle, Lord of the Rings, is live. Somebody tell me what the fuck that is. Then before Junpei had time to blink, she was typing at incredible speed, the click-clack of the keys running together like machine gun fire.
Wait, what?
He's staring right at her boobs. He's not looking at the keyboard at all. Junpei was, for once, at a loss for words.
Didn't expect that, did you?
Of course I didn't. You're typing so fast, I can't even see your fingers.
Yeah, because you're too busy looking at her boobs. Lotus grinned, pleased with herself.
Well, at any rate, you're pretty amazing.
Oh, it's books.
Did you
Oh.
fall for me again?
Whoa, 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 what do you mean again? I'm not into you.
I know. Don't be so stubborn, shy boy.
I am not being stubborn, I am not shy, and I am not a boy. I am a young, healthy, 21-year-old man. I'm not gonna fall for an old lady like you.
Oh. He said the wrong thing, buddy. Suddenly, the guttural roar of a furious animal filled the room. Or so Junpei thought for just a moment. Lotus's hand suddenly stopped and her shoulders stiffened.
Old lady? Did you just say old lady?
Ah, crap, thought Junpei. I went too far. Oh well, it was a nice life while it lasted.
I've had enough. Go somewhere else. You're bothering me.
What?
Go see if you can find a password hint or something. I'll try and open this from here.
Sorry.
You're distracting me. Go. Now.
Lotus waved her hand in the universal gesture of dismissal. Junpei was clearly not wanted.
Fine, I guess I'll go.
Time to cut my losses, Junpei thought, and left as quietly and inoffensively as he could. Junpei wandered around the room for a while, looking for anything that might help find the password for the computer. Unfortunately,
Nothing. No clues whatsoever.
I know, right, Jedi? Hey, Weirdman, what's up?
Clover didn't find anything useful in the laboratory either. Damn. Looks like we've hit a dead end this time.
But just as he was about to tell Lotus that his search had returned nothing...
All right. Bullseye. Junpei, I did it.
Excited cheering erupted from near the monitor.
What?
He hurried back to find Lotus looking rather smug.
Let me see.
She gestured for him to look at the screen, and he did. The strange text from before was gone. In its place was something entirely different. Oh, come on. Really? That easy?
What is that?
I don't have any idea. It just showed up after I cracked the password.
You think it's a puzzle?
Yeah, and we already have the solution.
Certainly looks like one.
Yep. As she spoke, she stood up.
Huh? Aren't you gonna, I don't know, do more computer stuff?
No, I can't do any more. It won't let me do any more programming. See? The keyboard. Nothing. So, there's nothing more I can do. Well, I guess I'll leave this to you then, Junpei.
What?
Let me take a break, all right?
You okay?
I did my part.
Well...
I'm curious as to why she knows how to hack computers, but okay. I wasn't sure what to say to that. She certainly had done her part. In fact, without Lotus, they probably would have run completely aground. I shouldn't rely on other people so much, Junpei thought to himself.
I guess you're right. Thanks, Lotus.
No problem. And make sure you know when you should thank people.
Now, I better take care of this myself. No more relying on anyone else.
Junpei crossed his arms and stared at the puzzle shown on the screen. Oh my god, even without the solution, this is fucking cake, dude. What? Alright, I solved it. Did you hear a noise just now? Yeah, I did. It sounded like something unlocking. Where did it come from? Oh, fuck if I know. Oh, these lockers are open now. Look, Junpei, the lights on the lockers are green. Hacker man. We must have unlocked it with the computer puzzle. There's more than one key in here. This one is small and looks like it goes to some sort of machine. And this one has the Earth symbol. Oh, sweet! That's helpful. The Earth symbol matches a keyhole in a door on the A deck. That's absolutely right, it does. Well, if that's the case, we probably don't need the Earth key right now. But we're gonna take it with us, right? I'll tuck you away deep in my pocket. Good, because we're gonna need that. As for the other key, and I already know exactly what to do with that. It was just at that moment that he heard a voice behind him. It was Clover.
Hey, Junpei, do you have a minute?
He put the puzzle aside for a moment and walked over to Clover.
What's up?
Well, never mind.
Hey, hold on a minute. What does...
Sorry. Just forget about it. It's nothing.
Before he could say anything else, she spun around and ran back down the stairs.
What the hell was that?
After waiting a few minutes to see if she would return, Junpei sighed, shook his head, and went back to searching. Okay. This key. The shape sure does make it seem like it goes to this machine. Alright, I'm turning it on. Monitor's on now, and it's full of letters. It's showing some kind of warning. Power restored to experimental device. Emergency system will activate in the event of abnormal subject behavior. Okay. Typing on this keyboard isn't doing squat. Great. Well, I guess we could check that other room, figure out what the fuck's going on. Oh yeah, I gotta do it from this side. So this thing, right? Mannequin line on the exam table. Can't really see it very well from here, but it looks like there are a bunch of electrodes sticking out of its head, connected to this thing, right? It's a monitor. Whole lot of cables under the table. What about this? Does this work now? Junpei, this thing here is on now. Yeah, it's because we turned the power on. Yeah, that was an episode of Eureka. They found an old computer and they're like, I'm gonna turn it on. And it was like, oh, it's gonna launch nukes in like 8 hours or some shit. Oops. Could you like play with it a little? Okay. Giggity. Yeah, I'll turn this dial here. I don't think it's working. Nothing happened. And maybe she missed something. I should ask her to look around the room again. It's a rack. There's some cables, a copper wire exposed. Got the scribbling already. The monitor. A sink. The drain. And then you already did that. Maybe increase the voltage. Oh, I had to click it twice. Oh, my bad. I'm gonna go all the way to max voltage. Wait, Clover? Ah, shit. I think, oops. Oh my god. Mannequin's head. That sounds like a fire alarm. Yeah, it does. What the hell? Fire detected. The emergency system will be activated. Evacuate the room immediately. Oh shit, the door's open. Yeah, the green light's on. Open the door. Junpei, look at the light. Yeah, it's green. Emergency system has been activated. Disable the lock. Now we can save Clover. Did it! Junpei! Come on, kid, jump. Jump? It's a staircase. Yeah. Oh man, that smoke is some serious business. Time to close this door again, I think. Clover, you okay? Are you hurt? Cough, cough. Damn, she's coughing so hard she can't even talk. Cough. Of course I'm not alright. The hell took you so long, you big jerk? I was almost dead. Sorry. I was going as fast as I could. You two can do this later. Right now, we need to get the hell out of here. That fire's not going to stay in that room forever. So. Yee! That wasn't so bad. Junpei, Clover, and Lotus leapt out of the laboratory, slamming the door shut behind them.
Whew, thank God we got out of there.
Ooh.
Yeah, finally.
Oh, yeah.
All three collapsed against the wall, breathing heavily. Junpei's heart was pounding in his chest, and his whole body felt weak. He inhaled gulps of clean air, and with each one, he could feel his body begin to calm down.
All right, let's go.
Okay.
They nodded to each other and started off down the hallway. Before long, they found a few new doors, but all of them were locked. What a surprise.
Damn, none of these open. They're all locked.
How about that one?
The final door sat in a corner of the hallway.
Let's hope this is the door with the prize.
Junpei grabbed the door handle and was about to pull it when a voice cried out behind him. It was neither Clover nor Lotus, but he recognized it. There was no doubt the voice belonged to...
Jumpy!
Huh?
He spun around. There, at the other end of the hall, Junpei saw human figures running toward him. 3 of them.
June? Santa! 7!
Nice. They stopped short in front of Junpei and his companions, gasping for air.
Hey, what are you guys doing here?
We were here first, asshole.
What? But we didn't...
Before he could finish, Clover spoke.
Hey guys, could you come take a look at this?
She was standing near the end of a small hallway that branched off to the right. The rest of them ran over to her, curious as to what she'd found.
Hey, on the wall.
A map of the ship's interior?
Okay.
It says C deck.
So it's the map for this floor then?
Excellent.
Door 7. And... Door 8. Yep, they both eventually end up at this hallway.
Fascinating. In fact,
Yeah, isn't that what I said? We aren't going to be split up permanently till we find door 9.
it's true.
We might get separated for a little while, but we'll see each other again. Otherwise, we won't be able to open door 9. That's how the nonary game works.
Junpei looked at the map of the ship's interior again.
Wait a sec. This leads to...
As he looked more closely, his surprise and excitement gave way to weariness.
Oh,
You've got to be kidding me.
One by one, the others saw what he'd seen.
We may as well go.
yeah.
As one, they all moved back toward the door Junpei had only a moment ago been ready to open.
Almost forgot. We should keep this.
Yeah, that would be good. We do want maps. Maps are a good thing to have. And then he followed everybody else. The 6 of them stood in front of the door, arrayed in a semicircle. Santa stepped forward. He took hold of the door and spoke without looking back at the other 5.
Ready? I'm gonna open it.
You got the map. They nodded. They're silent. With a deep breath, Santa threw open the door. Yeah, shit. They poured through the doorway and into the room. Even without looking around, each one of them knew where they were.
I knew it.
They were just where the map had said they would be.
Back. In the hospital room.
The room of the 4, the one that didn't have a number on it. It's a circle. What the fuck?
I see. I believe I understand what you're saying.
At least he's not dead.
The 6 of you split into 2 teams and went through doors 7 and 8.
That would be correct.
You solved the puzzles in the operating room and the laboratory,
Okay.
and then met one another in the hallway after opening your respective locked doors.
Uh-huh. He looked like anyone might after only just waking up, but it seems his brain was working as well as ever. He had managed to grasp, summarize, and understand each team's report.
At any rate, I feel a bit silly for my little show of altruism. I know I said I was sure you'd come back for me. I didn't think it would happen so soon, though.
Ace shook his head with a rueful smile.
Well, we saw each other again and we ain't dead, so I say that's good enough.
7 smiled.
Anyway, I say we get out of this creepy old place.
I concur.
We found the key we need.
The key?
Ain't that what I just said? I'm talking about the Jupiter key. We found it in the operating.
And I found the Earth key.
Here.
7 tossed something small and metallic toward Junpei.
Oh,
Nice catch.
jeez.
He caught it and found that the object was indeed a key.
I see. So this is Jupiter.
On it, someone engraved a symbol very similar to a 4. He looked over at June, who nodded back. It had to be the Jupiter symbol.
I'm gonna let you hold on to that, alright?
Okay.
Yeah, on it.
Junpei tucked the new key into his pocket.
So how many unused keys do we have now?
There's the Earth key we found in the laboratory. The Saturn key card we found in the kitchen.
Okay.
And the Jupiter key you just gave me.
2 keys and a key card. Junpei tucked the new keys into his pocket. June spoke up.
The Jupiter key is supposed to be for the door at the end of that long, straight hallway, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. If the map's right, then it connects to the central staircase. Then, next to the stairs,
Wait!
They were the first words anyone had heard out of Clover in quite some time. Her face suggested they weren't going to be very happy words.
What about door 3?
look, you saw the map, right? It's the same as 7 and 8. Just lead us back to the big hospital room. There's no point to seeing what's on the other side of that door.
It's fair.
There is a point. At least there is for me.
Oh, you're looking for Snake still. There were tears in her eyes, but she glared at Seven as hard as she could, just the same. She looked very much like a frightened puppy. There wasn't a man alive who could have resisted those eyes. Seven looked everywhere in the room except at Clover and muttered and coughed apologies under his breath.
Yeah, you're right, I'm sorry. Snake might be on the other side of door 3.
But no, he can't. His number was 2. There's no way. Clover nodded once. The next person to speak was Ace.
Very well. I'll be coming with you then. I've had a nice long rest. I think it's time I was up and about again. So, Seven, you'll help me, won't you?
Huh? Me?
Junpei did the calculations quickly in his head. 4 plus 1 plus 7 is 12. 1 plus 2 is 3. Looked like 7 was doing them too. At last, he gave up.
Damn. Well, I guess that's how it's gotta be. So I'm going with you, huh?
Yes, you are.
All right, let's get moving.
And so it was decided that Clover, Ace, and 7 would discover what lay beyond door 3.
Okay, we're heading out.
Be careful.
Whoa. Didn't think I'd be hearing that from you, Lotus.
Don't let it go to your head. I'd be in trouble if the 3 of you bought it. The rest of us can't open the 9 door.
Ah, the truth comes out.
7 nodded as if this answer made much more sense and pulled the lever on the red.
Okay, we're off.
The door opened and Ace, Clover, and 7 jumped through it. 6, 7, 8. After exactly 9 seconds, the door closed noisily.
All right, we should get moving too.
Huh?
Get moving.
Where are we going?
Everyone except Lotus seemed rather
Well, it
confused.
would be a waste of time to just sit around, wouldn't it?
It's fair.
Let me explain.
Oh, I get it. We're gonna see if we can get anywhere interesting with the Jupiter key.
Yes. If we're lucky, we might find Snake.
That would be good. I like Snake. They were at the end of the hallway lined by individual hospital rooms.
And here's the Jupiter symbol on the keyhole.
All right, Junpei, open it if you please.
Yep.
Yeah, on it.
Let's do it. Junpei pulled the Jupiter key out of his pocket and slid it into the keyhole. He twisted, and it opened. Yeah! With a nice sharp click, he felt the door unlock. Junpei sucked in a breath, held it, and opened the door as quietly as he could. Inside was exactly what he expected to see from the map of the ship's interior. They were in a tremendous hall, almost like a ballroom, with a massive central staircase.
Great, back to the beginning. You sure this is a good idea?
Yeah, but we have the Saturn
What do you
key card.
mean?
Well, we already searched every inch of this room, didn't we? I'm asking you if there's any reason we came back here.
Yeah. Of course there's a reason.
Of course there's a reason. Man, sometimes I can't tell if you're smart or just lucky.
Huh?
This.
Junpei pulled 2 things out of his pockets.
The Saturn key card.
Mm-hmm.
And the Earth key? I'm lost.
My god, dude, really? Santa cocked his head to one side like an inquisitive bird and looked at them. After several long moments during which it became apparent that Santa had no idea what the cards meant, June took pity on him.
Don't you remember, Santa? On C deck, where we are now, there was a big elevator behind the stairs, remember? And next to the elevator, there was a card reader with the Saturn symbol on it. And on A deck, on the door to the left, there was a keyhole with the Earth symbol on it, I think.
Yep, that's right.
So the 2 keys that Jumpy has?
Should let us use the elevator and the door on A deck. Huh.
That's the plan.
Yes, that's right.
June smiled, pleased with herself. So did Santa.
All right, I got it. Let's get started then. What do you say we split into 2 teams?
Oh, that's right, none of them are numbered doors, so we don't have to have 3 people.
Lotus and I will search the Earth one, so you 2 can search Saturn, all right?
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Then you guys should take this key.
Junpei handed the Earth key to Santa. He regretted that. He should have given it to Lotus instead. They decided that their initial search should be
We
brief.
have no idea what's on the other side of these. So don't go too far. Just search for 10 minutes and come back.
Plan decided, the 2 teams split up. Split up? Junpei and June headed for the elevators.
There's a card reader next to the left elevator.
Then let's try out the Saturn key card.
Okay. A light on the upper left corner blinked to
Great.
life.
It looks like it's working now.
All right. Now, how do I call the elevator?
There was a single button to the right of the elevator door.
Oh, it only has the upside down triangle on it.
Okay.
I guess there's no up button. Well, we may as well try pushing this one.
The door slid shut, and they heard the grinding of the motor as the elevator car moved down. That's a
It opened! Look, Jumpy!
That's a creepy looking elevator. June's voice was excited, but Junpei could hear a tinge of anxiety.
Sweet! It opened! Let's get going.
I don't like it either. He grinned at June and stepped toward the open door. They're gonna bone in there, right? As he was about to step foot in it, he felt a hand on his arm.
Wait!
What?
I'm not really, I just, oh gosh.
Junpei was at something of a loss. What could she possibly be so frightened of? June was probably afraid of... I mean, I would assume the fact that it could only go down. She was afraid because the only elevator button pointed down. That meant, of course, the elevator couldn't go any higher than the floor they were on. As he thought about it, Junpei realized he hadn't seen elevators on the A or B decks near the central staircase. All of which meant that the elevator could only convey them to lower decks.
Come to think of it, the lower floor, D deck, is completely underwater. An elevator heading to a submerged floor. That is pretty scary. Hey, wait a minute. This elevator came up from somewhere under us.
Correct, and it's not full of water, so you should be fine.
Well, yes, I guess it did. It didn't open right away after you pressed the button. There was a motor noise, like it was moving, and then it opened.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So, take a look inside.
It's not wet. Junpei jerked his head toward the interior of the elevator.
It's not wet at all, is it? The walls and even the floor are totally dry.
Oh, you're right. They are.
She looked around the elevator, slightly embarrassed.
Well, let's test it.
Tested.
Yeah, watch this. Now, I'll just put one foot inside the elevator and look over at the buttons. Oh, there's only 2, E and C. All right, I'll push E.
He pushed the E button and jumped out of the elevator. The door slid shut, and they heard the grinding of the motor as the elevator car moved down.
I think I can hear it opening on E deck.
Same.
Okay, that's done. Now I'll just press the button again.
And if it's full of water, they know not to go down there. See, it's fine.
Yep, not a single drop of water to be seen.
So let's go, now that you've done your whining.
See?
Junpei couldn't resist puffing out his chest, just a little bit. June, however, still looked confused.
What does that mean? How can E deck be safe if the D deck is full of water?
I mean, as long as the hull isn't breached, they could contain the water to certain areas.
Well, here's what I think. The elevator shaft and E deck must be watertight and separated from wherever the ship's been punctured.
Exactly.
Here, let me show you.
He pulled out his notebook and pen and sketched out a rough illustration.
I see. So is that why the ship hasn't sunk?
Little dumbbell, sideways dumbbell, nice.
The shape of the inside keeps it all from filling with water?
Something like that.
Yeah, I think that's what's going on.
Junpei continued talking as he closed the notebook and slipped it back into his pocket.
So I'm gonna go down and check it out. You stay here, all right?
But
Come on, just do it, all right?
He gave June's shoulder a reassuring squeeze and then hopped into the elevator. He pushed the E button and the door began to close. June looked worried, her eyes darting back and forth as if she was trying to make a decision, when suddenly,
I'm coming with you.
Huh?
at the last possible moment, June dashed forward, turning sideways just in time to slip through the gap between the closing doors.
Hey, wait!
Junpei jammed his finger against the open button, but it was too late.
Oh, crap. It closed.
The door had shut, he and June were in the elevator, and it was headed down to E-Deck. He was so surprised by June that he didn't even have time to think about what awaited him on the E-Deck.
I can't just let you go alone, you know.
You just want to be near me.
Ah, jeez.
The elevator stopped, and the door slid open. They tentatively stepped out and looked around.
It looks normal.
No fish going about their fishy business or jellyfish floating lazily through the water. There was, however, a blowfish, or at least something that looked very much like one. June's cheeks were puffed out and her mouth a tiny, intense frown.
Oh, knock it off. It's just like I thought. This part hasn't flooded. Wow. Come on, just look around. There's no water here.
June looked around nervously. Oh my god. The longer I'm around you, the more I just... Oh my god. You are so dumb.
You're right. It's not flooded at all.
See?
But there's a whole lot of water.
Yeah, right on top of us.
What's gonna happen if the ceiling breaks?
It won't. Junpei thought about that for a moment.
We'd probably die.
You should not say that to her.
Oh no. Don't be so casual about something like that.
At any rate, we should probably go back as soon as we can, once we're done looking around down here.
Yeah, well, 10 minutes have already passed just from you people whining.
Lotus and Santa might already be back.
Exactly.
Okay, good idea.
Now then.
Junpei glanced around the room they'd found themselves in. First thing he noticed was a set of thick iron bars. They ran the length of the room, separating the left elevator from the right one.
Iron bars. Well, we can't go over there.
Right.
Then maybe...
In the corner of the room that housed the elevators, Junpei found an opening. He walked up to it and stuck his head around the corner.
It looks like there's a long straight hallway down this way.
Oh.
Something's written on the door at the end. Wait, is that...
Let's check.
Junpei and June set off down the hallway at a brisk clip, somewhere between a run and a jog. Before long, they found themselves in front of the door. On it was a number written in bright red paint. 6.
I knew it!
This is a numbered door.
Thank you. I could not have figured that out without you, June. And indeed, there was a red bolted to the wall right next to the door.
But we can't do anything with only the two of us.
Correct.
We better head back and let everyone know.
Yes.
Junpei and June turned and headed back to C-Deck.
Wait, what's this?
On their way back, Junpei noticed a map on the wall. The map
Is this
of...
the map for E-Deck?
Ooh.
I should take it with me.
Yes, you should.
Huh, so you guys found door 1.
Ah, okay. They'd met back up with Santa and Lotus, who had explained what they found. Apparently, there was another numbered door on A-Deck, just like the one on E-Deck, beyond the door that the Earth Key opened. According to Santa and Lotus, there was a 1 on the door.
So now we've located 2 new doors. The 6 door and the 1 door.
Okay, so we found 1, and we found 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8. So the only doors we haven't found are 2 and 9, I think.
It is interesting that E-Deck wasn't flooded.
Lotus was quiet for a moment, lost in thought.
Well, we don't really know if all of E-Deck is safe. We only checked the area around the elevator.
Even so, it's still very interesting.
You said the 6th door was there, right?
Yes.
And that means Zero planned all this out, even the sinking.
Mm-hmm.
That would have meant some pretty serious remodeling of the ship's interior.
It's pretty mind-blowing when you think about it.
A lot of work.
Yeah. I wonder how long it took. I can't even imagine how much it must have cost.
It would have been a ton, that's for sure.
Well, that does go along with what Ace was saying. The most reasonable explanation would be that this was done by some organization with access to a whole lot of cash.
Yes, it does make sense.
That thought made them all go quiet for a moment. June bit her lip while Lotus sighed softly to herself, and Santa cracked a stiff neck and stared off into the distance at nothing.
Yeah?
I don't think it's a very good idea to stay here.
Why? June looked up at Junpei with large, pleading eyes.
Yeah, you're right. Ace and his team might be back already.
It's true.
Well, Junpei and I should be able to open door 1.
Okay.
Huh? You guys leaving me behind?
Just kidding. All right, let's go.
Lotus's words were all... I've never seen that word before in my life. Back to the large hospital room they went, and hopefully nobody died. Or something. The moment they stepped inside, a tremendous voice echoed across the room.
Hey! Where the hell did you guys go?
It was 7.
7?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Ace was right behind him, and Clover was behind Ace, although she seemed to be hanging back.
What's wrong?
It looked as though there was something strange about them. 7 had the look of a man who'd seen a ghost. Ace was just as pale, and Clover looked like she was only moments from passing out entirely. For a long moment, they simply stood there, looking at one another. Junpei looked around nervously, waiting for someone else to speak. No one did. He looked at 7.
What happened?
What the hell kind of question is that?
7 was trying very hard to be angry, but something had shaken him. Hard. Hey, Din Din. His shoulders were trembling, and his voice was strained.
Snake is...
7 couldn't finish. He just looked away, his face twisted by... Junpei wasn't sure what. Instead, Ace spoke. He took a deep breath, closed his eyes, and spoke.
Snake is dead. He died, just as the 9th man did.
It was as if all the air had suddenly been sucked out of the room. Junpei felt his heartbeat quicken, and he realized he was having trouble breathing. He could feel cold sweat beating on his forehead and neck. June, Santa, and Lotus looked the way he felt. All 3 were frozen in place, their faces white.
Oh my god. That's not true, is it?
Fission mailed. We'll fuck him next time.
We should make sure.
Yeah, right. We should.
They nodded to one another and headed for the number 3 door.
Wait, not that way.
What? Why not?
They stopped short and turned to look at 7. He was pointing at the door with no number.
I stuck a screwdriver in there to keep the door from closing all the way.
Oh.
It's not locked, so you can go in that way.
Where is he?
The shower room. The left side of the hallway. I put a broom in there too to keep the door open.
That means we can get in without going through the numbered door, right?
Which is a good thing.
Yeah, that's right.
Then let's go.
Their new destination cleared, Junpei and his companions headed for the door with no number. Once in the hallway, it was easy to spot the metal door on the left
This
wall.
wasn't open when we passed here before.
But now, just as 7 had said, there was a broom stuck between the door and the frame, keeping it open.
Well, let's keep going.
They looked at it for a moment, then stepped inside.
Oh, it smells horrible.
Lotus wriggled her nose and covered her mouth in disgust. Even Santa pinched his nose shut.
Ugh, yeah, this is pretty awful. I feel like I'm gonna puke.
It was just as bad as they'd said, perhaps worse. A hideous smell filled the air, so thick they could almost taste it. It was sour and smelled of fish, feces, and burnt meat. It worked its way through Junpei's nose and down his throat to pound against the entrance to his stomach. He put his hands over his mouth and struggled to keep what little was in his stomach where it belonged.
Where is he? Where's Snake?
They didn't have to wonder where the body was.
There.
There was blood everywhere, a few arms of the splatter reaching toward them as they walked through the door. All one had to do was follow the many radial arms, man. Radial arms to their source. The body itself was hidden behind a divider.
June, you should stay here.
But
Please, just do me a favor, okay? All right?
He didn't give her a chance to say no. He put his hand on her shoulder as if to shove her into the ground like a tent pole, turned and walked toward the end of the divider.
I'm going in.
It felt like it took an eternity for him to get there. Santa and Lotus followed, timid and nervous as a pair of children. Eventually, they reached the divider. They looked at one another and nodded, slowly. Junpei put his hands on the divider and peered around the corner. For a moment, he forgot to breathe. He felt his heart collapse in his chest like an empty cigarette carton, and time froze. He knew in that instant that he would take the image before him to the grave. What was left of the body sat in a sea of blood. Chunks of flesh torn from the body sat in the blood like tiny islands in a great red sea. A vast... Oh my God. Ragged hole had been torn in the torso, and what remained of his intestines spilled out like fresh spaghetti. Smaller chunks of meat had splattered against the wall and become stuck there as they dried. Globules of yellowish fat had left trails like tiny slugs as gravity pulled them down the wall even as they dried to it.
Just like Ace said.
Jesus. Santa's voice was strained. Junpei suspected he was holding down some vomit of his own.
Just like the ninth man. The detonator in his bracelet set off the bomb in his gut.
It looked as though the explosion had been quite powerful.
Oh God. The bone is coming out of his left arm.
It's definitely an open fracture.
His legs were both bent in an odd, unnatural way, and his left arm had split open, exposing the painfully white bone of his ulna. His bracelet lay next to him. It seemed to have hit the wall hard enough to have shattered the display, which lay on the ground in pieces.
Oh, the face. It's horrible.
Yeah, you can't even tell who it is.
Half of his head had simply collapsed. The blood coating almost made it look like raw pizza dough covered in tomato sauce. Oh! His clothes, too, were covered in blood. The burgundy tie, the white shirt, the jacket with the yellow piping, and the gray slacks.
But the clothes are...
They were all familiar to Junpei.
No mistake about it. It's Snake.
Lotus's voice was unnaturally deep and strained, and Junpei heard it catch in her throat. Sorry, Tractor. The squeal of tortured metal made Junpei's teeth curl. It sounded like the noise a ghost would make. No matter how many times he heard it, he never got used to it. Every time, it put him on edge. It didn't help that there was a girl nearby who looked far more like a ghost than a living human should. It was Clover. She sat on the edge of the bed, her head drooping listlessly into her chest. Her eyes were blank, stared across the room at nothing. Her breathing was slow and mechanical. Aside from the rise and fall of her chest, she didn't move. Junpei felt as if a nudge might cause her to shatter into 1,000 pieces.
Snake was probably murdered. Chances are he was killed the same way the ninth man was.
Yeah, I mean, it's the only thing that makes sense. Seven lowers his voice, likely in an effort to keep Clover from hearing what he had to say. There were 4 other people in the room with Junpei and Seven. Ace, Santa, June, and Lotus. Seven looked at each one of them in turn and continued.
Pretty straightforward. Not that hard to figure out how they did it. First, the killers got Snake to authenticate on the red to open door 3. Then they shoved him into it, alone, and waited 9 seconds for the door to shut. Once that door shut, it was all over for Snake. But he didn't give up. He probably knew it wouldn't do him any good, but he probably ran into the shower room looking for the dead. It was a small chance, but it wasn't like he had anything to lose. Unfortunately, it didn't work. The detonator is only deactivated if everybody who authenticated when they went in uses the dead. Snake was the only one who went through the door, and then 81 seconds after he was shoved in, that happened.
I see. So that's what you meant by killers, huh? You need at least 3 people to open one of the numbered doors, including Snake.
So... Oh, shit. Okay, hang on. I have 3 possible solutions.
It wouldn't open for Snake and a single killer.
Yeah. That means we're looking at multiple perps here.
Junpei crossed his arms and grunted.
Well, just in case, I want to make sure. Let's say you're right. When do you think Snake was killed?
When we all split up to look for the parts for the Reds, I think.
I agree.
Right after that was when we noticed he was gone.
Then that means none of us have alibis. We were all off searching the rooms we'd been assigned, looking for those parts.
Yeah. That means anybody could be a killer.
Wait a minute. What are you talking about?
June seemed shocked.
How can you say that so casually? You're implying that one of us is a killer.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not just one of us. If I'm right, then at least 2 of us are murderers.
Why don't you calm down a bit, Seven? What are you going to gain by being so suspicious? That's what Zero wants, you know?
What Zero wants?
Exactly. This game was set up by Zero, wasn't it? Any game has a winner and loser. Whoever makes it through door 9 is a winner, and those who don't are the losers. Zero is trying to make us fight against one another for that victory.
Then you're saying that Zero is trying to split us up by making us fight each other?
Yes. That is why we can't let ourselves fall prey to suspicion. We have to trust one another and form a strong bond of friendship. Otherwise, we'll end up ensnared by Zero's manipulations.
Then does that mean that the person who killed Snake...
Yes. Almost certainly Zero himself.
Okay, so even if it was Zero himself, it still takes 3 people to open a door. Snake and Zero is only 2 people, so even if Zero is one of the people, there still has to be another person.
If there's anyone we should doubt, it should be Zero. He masterminded this game and kidnapped all of us.
Well, it'll be good to have your computer back on Friday, right, Cry? Thank you for the bit, by the way.
Doesn't it seem reasonable that he would have killed Snake as well?
Good question.
Junpei hadn't really considered that.
If Zero killed Snake, then Zero is on the ship with us.
I mean, I assumed as much already. Junpei, was Zero still on the ship with them? Of course. Of course he was. That was obvious.
I don't...
Zero was somewhere on the ship, but Junpei had no idea where. Junpei mumbled to himself, lost in thought.
Where could Zero be hiding?
The silence was cold and clammy, and Junpei could feel it crawling across his back and around his throat. Again, he heard the ghosting, moaning noise. And moments later, a person who looked more ghost than human appeared. It was Clover. She looked at the floor as she spoke, and her voice was a cold monotone.
I think Zero is one of us.
Oh. Every human body in the room froze. The only sound was the muffled rustling of breath. Eyes darted from face to face. One of those faces was the face of their jailer. But who? Was he one of them? Oh, God. I didn't even consider that. My first thought is they were all in the same room when Zero came over the loudspeaker, but that would be easily faked by making a pre-recorded message that would start at a particular time, so that doesn't actually help anything. It is possible. It's absolutely possible.
Well, that's possible.
Huh?
Like Clover said, Zero might be one of us.
What are you saying, Jumpy? Didn't you hear what Ace said?
Exactly. I said we shouldn't suspect one another for no reason.
No reason. I've got a great reason.
And what's that?
The bracelets.
He held out his left arm.
Why are the bombs in our bodies connected to the bracelets? You're all thinking Zero's hiding somewhere watching us, right? If he's doing that, then he could just detonate the bombs by remote control if someone did something they weren't supposed to. It would be a lot more precise and a lot easier. But if that's the case, then why is the bomb set off by the detonator in the bracelet?
In case he can't see.
You got a point.
I'm not done. Try applying the same ideas to the Nonary game. All of the puzzles here run all by themselves. In other words, Zero doesn't have to be controlling them for the game to move forward.
So he can be here.
Why's that? Why would Zero bother to do something like that?
Junpei let the question hang in the air and looked at the others. It was Santa who answered.
So let's say you and Clover are right. Zero's one of us. If that's the case, then it'd be really hard for him to keep track of all of us or control anything remotely. That's why all the puzzles run by themselves. That's what you're getting at, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Junpei nodded.
Seven, when we were talking earlier, you said any one of us could be Snake's killer, right?
Yeah, something like that.
All right then. I've got a question for you, Ace. You said something like Zero must be the one who killed Snake, right?
Yes, something like that. I can't think of any other explanation.
Both are right.
So what do we get if we combine those? They fit together pretty well, I think. Something like this. Whoever killed Snake is Zero. Hence, Zero is one of us. Seven and Ace's theories aren't mutually exclusive. They actually complement each other pretty well. At least they do if Zero is one of us.
No one spoke. Their faces were grim, but Junpei wasn't sure if they believed him or not. Finally, Lotus spoke up.
What were his motives?
His motives?
Yes, isn't that pretty important? Why would Zero want to hide as one of us?
Oh, well, that's because...
Junpei choked. He hadn't thought of that, and he had to be honest with himself. He had no fucking clue.
I don't know.
Lotus sighed.
Well, so much for making a persuasive argument, Junpei.
In other words, you only had circumstantial evidence.
Well, yeah.
I don't really think that's enough to go on, you know?
Ah,
Junpei was painfully aware of their eyes on him and their disapproval. He tried to find something else, anything else to look at. Then, in that horrible silence, it was the clock at the central staircase.
It's 3 in the morning.
3 hours to go.
That means we have 3 hours left.
Then we need to move now. Seven, Clover, Junpei, I know how you feel, but you do understand that right now it's important we trust one another, don't you?
Yeah.
you're right, but...
Junpei couldn't bring himself to respond. He swallowed the words he wanted to say and sighed. Seven and Clover remained similarly silent. Their eyes were looking at something somewhere else, very far away.
We must go. We have very little time left.
Ace's words put their feet to moving. They all knew where they were going.
Our next destination is Mercury.
It'll
Maybe
have...
you and June should check it out first and then report back to us.
If I had to guess, it'll either have door 2 or door 9.
All right, let's go, June.
Right. Here it is.
It's sat, bolted to the wall near the stairs that led to the casino and the kitchen between the two elevators.
The Mercury card reader.
We're using the card 7 gave us, right?
Yeah.
I found it when we were checking out the shower room.
I think 7 said something like that. Anyway, let's see what happens.
Okay. I'm digging those triplets.
I guess the elevator works now.
Jumpy, I know it's only the two of us, but let's do our best.
Well, yeah.
What's with you all of a sudden?
Well, I'm happy we were put together.
This bitch is bipolar, I swear.
You know it's just for searching E-Deck, right?
Dude. I'm digging this music. This track is awesome.
Even so, I'm glad I'm with you.
Oh. First, we need to find out if the elevator comes up full of water.
Just like we did before.
What up, Link? Oh, nice, dude. Lucky. I spent $1,000 on Amazon last night, so I'm broke bitch now.
Oh, here it is.
I knew it. It's not wet at all.
Let's
go.
By the time we get to the bottom, it will be. Once it being checked for water, Junpei and June stepped into the elevator.
Look! Nearly all of the buttons are destroyed.
Yeah, only the
Oh, I
C
bought
and
an
bottom
Ass Blaster
buttons.
9K because I want to make sure I can't walk right again.
We're on C deck right now, so the only one we can choose is bottom.
Yeah. Well, let's try it out.
The bottom button. The door closed. Slowly, they began to move downward, as an elevator would
This
do.
is the bottom deck.
They stepped off and saw the hallway to their right ended somewhere between 20 and 25 feet from them. You guys go for the same thing at the same time. The hallway in front of them was a dead end, but not a regular dead end.
Over there.
This is a numbered door.
Shit, alright.
This is the 8th one we found.
We found every numbered door but 9.
There were 2 numbered doors on B deck near the central staircase. They were doors 4 and 5. 3 more in the large hospital room. Doors 3, 7, and 8.
And the door we found on E deck, and the door Lotus and Santa found on A deck. It was a 6 on the door on E deck, and a 1 on the door on A deck.
And we just found 2. Four, 5, 3, 7, 8, 6, 1, and now 2.
That means...
Do you think the next door we find?
Yeah, I think so. The next one's gonna be door 9.
Hope so. Yeah, I mean, I'd call you old-fashioned for that tractor. I would, but I mean, I could also understand it had a lot of things to like. It had honestly, like being completely honest, it had better craftsmanship than the 9K. But the 9K has that turbo feature, dude. It's worth it. It's worth it. There was something about that excitement that frightened him as well. Best line after what I just said.
Finally!
Yeah,
You don't look very happy about it, though.
it's not that. I just hope nothing goes wrong.
You're right. We should keep our fingers crossed.
I mean, that's fair, Jack. That's fair.
Let's head back.
Okay.
He did his best to put it from his mind and headed back to C deck with June.
One, 2, 3, 4. All right, 7 pieces.
The pieces of paper they'd folded up lay on the ground next to Junpei's legs. Everyone had written on paper pulled from Junpei's notebook in an effort to pull together a blind vote.
Just double checking, but everyone wrote their code name and a door number they want, right?
Yes, just like you told us earlier.
Can't believe we're voting here.
Is this necessary? Why had they decided to vote that way?
We need to make the whole thing fair, blah-de-blah. This is a complicated plan, you know. Hurry it up, Mr. I have a brilliant idea.
They decided it wasn't fair to simply ask everyone at once, that they would allow people to force others to go through certain doors.
Yeah, quiet in the peanut gallery.
And he had a plan. It wasn't a plan he wanted anyone catching wind of, however, so he did his best to act calm as he began to open and read the pieces of paper.
Alright, let's open these up.
What did you do, Junpei?
The first one says, Ace requests door 1.
Yes, I do. Would you like me to explain why?
No, we don't have time for that. Sorry. Let's keep going.
He opened the second one.
Next is Santa. He wants door 6.
Yeah, that's what I wrote.
Junpei continued with the third, fourth, and fifth pieces of paper.
Clover wants 1, Lotus wants 2, and 7 also wants 2.
Wait a minute. There is no way I'm going anywhere with the Elephant Man.
No, there'd be no point to the voting if we let people change their choices because of stuff like that.
But...
Shut your bitch mouth.
Just give it up, Lotus. It's not like I want to hang out with some exhibitionist grandma.
I am not an exhibitionist. I'm wearing clothes.
Barely.
Barely.
So, last I checked, that's not a crime.
Maybe. But what about common decency? Nobody wants to have to look at a chick who looks like a half-naked raisin.
Oh, I'm gonna kill you!
Rip. Lotus's hair flared out like the mane of an angry lion, and she roared
Not good.
with a voice that shook the walls.
Let go! Let go of me! I'm killing him!
With some difficulty, Ace managed to restrain her.
Junpei, read the rest.
Right.
Junpei tore his eyes away and looked down at the sixth piece of paper. He opened it.
June wants door 6.
Yes, I don't really have a reason. I just felt like it.
All the papers, save Junpei's, had been read. He did some quick calculations in his head.
So this was everyone's vote. Ace and Clover requested door 1.
Yeah. Okay, got it.
7 and Lotus requested door 2.
It was the door on the bottom. Can be reached by taking the elevator to the bottom.
Santa and June requested door 6.
It was the door on E deck. Can be reached by taking the elevator near the central staircase
The
down.
door I should choose is...
It took him less than a second to run the numbers. He opened the seventh piece of paper and spoke.
The last one is mine. I want to go through...
How can I pick? Am I like retroactively picking what I'm writing down? Okay, oh shit. Okay. As cute as June is, I really don't want to listen to her mouth anymore because she's really irritating, so I probably don't want to go through door 6. Ace is cool. I like Ace. I kind of just want to roll a dice for it because I don't care. Because none of those numbers are especially to me, you know? I'm gonna go with let's go with door 2.
My choice is door 2.
Santa was unconvinced.
Hey, wait a minute there. You cheating?
What?
Cheating?
I'm asking if you changed your number after you heard what doors we wanted.
How could I do that? I wrote it down on the paper earlier.
Let me see that.
Sure, here.
Junpei shrugged and handed it to him. Santa examined it furiously. The others peered at it as well. As they did, Junpei quickly slipped the piece of paper he'd been hiding into his pocket. You slimy fuck! Although he'd never know it now, Santa had been justified in his suspicions. Oh my god, another fucking bundle! Video and photo editing. Oh, that might actually be good. Junpei had switched papers.
I had 3 pieces of paper ready.
For doors 1, 2, and
And I
6.
put the one with door 6 on it into the pot.
He put a small mark on it so that he would know which one was his.
I just needed to make sure I drew last. After I saw everyone else's result, I just chose whatever door I wanted. If the number I'd already put in matched, then I didn't have to switch the paper out. Well, what does it say?
He fought the urge to smirk.
You got lucky.
Santa snorted and tossed the paper aside, frustrated.
All right. So we know who's going through door 2. It'll be me, Lotus, and Junpei.
I'm okay with that.
The only problem's the other 2 teams.
June and I want door 6.
Clover and I choose door 1.
That's not good. We can't open either of those doors with only 2 people.
That's correct. Everyone was silent. Then suddenly Clover spoke, her face blank and cold.
Why don't Santa and June go into door 1 with Ace?
Huh?
Well,
They looked at one another. I mean, that would work. Finally, Ace spoke.
Then what will you do, Clover?
I'll be waiting at the stairs. You guys are coming back here, right? That's what 7 was saying, wasn't it?
That had been what 7 said.
We aren't going to be split up permanently till we find door 9. We might get separated for a little while, but we'll see each other again. Otherwise, we won't be able to open door 9. That's how the nonary game works.
I'm sorry, but I just want to be by myself for a while.
Damn.
You understand, right?
There was no emotion on her face, but it was drawn and pale, and her eyes were red. No one had the heart to contradict her. The room grew very quiet. Silence drifted down over everything like a blanket of fresh snow. It was Santa who finally spoke.
all right. I'm going through door 1. That all right with you, June?
Yes.
June nodded.
Well, we'll be going then.
Let's move 2.
Yeah.
Right. Let's go.
And just like that, their paths were
I
set.
won't see June for a while, but this was my choice. I'm just going to have to suck it up. 7 said we'd all see each other again, and I'm going to believe that.
He took strength from that thought.
The other group went to A deck to go through door 1. Clover joined them. Our group is on our way too. We're heading to the bottom deck using the elevators. I wonder what we'll find down there.
They stepped off of the elevator and headed for door 2.
We ready?
Yep.
Yeah, anytime.
I'll go first.
One by one, they put their palms onto the recognition device, and 3 asterisks blinked to life on its screen.
Let's go!
The door opened, and they leapt inside.
Where the hell is it this time?
I don't see it!
Oh, there it is! It's right there!
Fortunately, it took them only moments to find the dead. It had been placed just inside the room, right next to the numbered door. They gathered around it and quickly scanned each of their bracelets.
It stopped.
Yeah.
Junpei could feel his heart pounding against the inside of his ribs. 7 and Lotus were breathing hard and fast.
Man, I'll never get used to that.
I'm not sure it's something I'd want to get used to. We should finish this game before imminent death becomes a normal thing.
Damn right.
All right.
Junpei looked around again.
This hallway's pretty short, but it's got 5 doors. 3 on the left, and only 1 on the right.
Don't forget the last one at the end of the hall.
But it's got a metal plate over it, so I doubt we're gonna get anywhere that way.
After taking a look around the room himself, Seven spoke.
Alright, let's get started. I think we'd probably better split up. You two okay with that?
Sure.
Yes, no problem.
Sure thing.
I'll take this first one.
I agree, Jedi. I agree. I've never watched any Lords of the Rings movies. Haha, oh god, what's wrong with you? You're not a person until you've seen those. Yeah, okay, I know, whatever. But still, I've never seen any of that stuff, but I do like D&D, so. Seven nodded to them and stepped into the room closest to him.
I'll try the one next to it.
Okay. At last, Junpei was left alone.
Well, I guess I'd better get started too.
He looked intently at the remaining 3 doors. Alright, Jedi. We'll catch you later. Confinement room. Front hallway. The fuck is that? What the hell is this supposed to be? Like a drawing of a whirlpool or something? Well, if I had to guess, I'd say it's trying to look like water. There's a drawing on the mirror that looks kind of like a spring. Ooh, what's that? There's a little tile in the drain. Doesn't look like we're gonna be able to pull it out of there. Might have to use our heads on this one. All right, let's figure this thing out. Water doesn't work. What a surprise. Doesn't matter how much Seven turns that thing, no water is coming out. Has the water been shut off from somewhere else? A symbol on the toilet, huh? Seems a little fishy to me. It's a sun symbol, but it doesn't look like the ones on the doors. Toilet paper tube, huh? I seriously doubt I'm gonna need this for anything. Well, this part's thinner than the rest. In fact, this doesn't really look like it's part of the rest of this thing. This rod feels loose. Maybe if I give it a couple turns. Really? Okay. This handle's pretty loose. Loose, you think it'll come off if you pull on it? It fell off. Look at this, the handle doesn't really fit on the string. Maybe it wasn't meant to be attached to it. That's threaded. No way. So I just stick this metal rod into the handle. It's a crude looking screwdriver, but I guess it'll work. I don't know what I need it for yet, but hey, we got a screwdriver. There's a dirty blanket on the bed. Man, this is a mess. It's not even a bed anymore. Can't say I'd want to sleep there. Me either. Can I look under the bed? No. Can I use a screwdriver to get the tile out of the thing? No way we're going to be able to pull it out. All right. Can I break the mirror? No. I don't see anything else in this room. Oh, shit. Chair's pretty old. If Seven sat on it, it'd probably break. Huh? You say something? Nothing at all? Oh, there's something up with this drawer. I don't trust it, but there's screws. Unscrew that shit. Sweet, got the screws off. Now we can open the drawer. Yes, we can. There's nothing in here. Well, maybe the drawer is what we need. What, you mean like the whole drawer? Oh, what's that? There's a bump on the back. I wonder what it's for. Maybe there's a hole somewhere and these bumps line up with it, trigger a hidden switch or something. Hey, we've seen weirder shit. Doesn't seem that far-fetched. Okay, so this is somehow accidentally a key. Alright. Doesn't help me yet, I don't think. Not really. It's just a long bowl. Yeah. I mean, that's not wrong, Tractor. Somebody made some wavy blue lines on this mirror with blue paint. Is that a drawing of a blue scarf? Nah, maybe not. Oh, this one doesn't. This drain is kind of a weird shape for a drain. Think they made it that shape for a reason or just for fun? So these sinks for the opposite wall. And it's not just the sinks, everything's opposite, like a mirror image. So that's normal if you're both using the same water pipes, right? Huh. This wall, is this supposed to be some sort of partition? What do they think this is? Privacy is important for these things. Well, it's not like you're gonna use it, Lotus. At least the guards couldn't watch you drop a loaf. Heck, it's better than being totally exposed, right? That's fair. Ooh, what's... That's like a combination of the other two. Fascinating. Bed looks cold. Pretty sure you'd freeze to death in the winter. No kidding. If I tried to sleep here, my skin would dry out in no time. Well, it's not like you're that young anymore. It shouldn't really matter. My, Junpei, aren't you lucky? It seems you'll die before you have a chance to grow old and hideous. Sorry, you're right. Dry skin is a woman's worst enemy. Looks even sadder without the pillow. So, it's still a terrible bed. I'd never sleep on a bed like that. Oh, okay. Moon. A moon? What a filthy, disgusting moon. Yeah, it's pretty filthy, but it's a precious hint. Let's remember it, alright? Indeed. This paper seems to be pretty old. How the hell can you touch that? It's horrible. Well, it's not like I really got a choice, do I? It's not like I want to. Half-used toilet paper. Well, it's old and it's kind of grossing me out, but there's nothing suspicious about it. It's just hanging from the wall. Well, we're pulling the string. It must be toilet that flushes it. Or it must be the toilet that it flushes. This room doesn't do shit. Looks like a chair for prisoners. It's rusty, but I don't think it's going to be a lot of help. Isn't that obvious? Look, I don't want to touch anything unless I have to. Lotus is not having this. Does she really not want to be in this room that bad? There's nothing in the drawer. Yeah, something's not right, though. That handle in the drawer doesn't really fit, you know? It just looks messy. Why don't you take it out? What the fuck? Is that a mirrored surface? So there's a mirror on the other side of this drawer. Interesting. It's kind of an odd shape, and it looks like someone attached the handle with a screw after the fact. Handle's weird. Attached with a screw, well. If I use a screwdriver on the screw in the center of the handle. A knob? Like for a shower? What the fuck? Okay. You are missing your knob. If I can find a knob for it, I could probably get water out of it. Okay. I didn't even notice it was missing a knob until just now, so that's good, I guess. Hey, Wolf. How you doing? Sweet. The handle I got out of the drawer fits under the faucet perfectly. Now I can turn the water on. Junpei, what are you doing? It's pretty obvious, isn't it? I'm running the water. Yeah, I could see that. I'm asking why you're just letting it run like that. Think about it, Lotus. This faucet didn't have a knob when we found it, right? What do you mean? Just watch. Anytime now. Hey, water's filling up. Doesn't that just mean the pipes are clogged? Whoops. Let's turn it off for now. So, did anything change? The water stopped flowing. Thank you, Mr. Obvious. Oh, Junpei, I'm leaving this one to you, alright? Is the drain clogged? Looks like a lot of the water isn't draining out of the sink. The sink's totally filled with water. Looks like turning the knob did the trick. The sink's filling up with water. Fuck yeah. Okay. 14? Is that what that's supposed to? So we got this tile, and it's got these red, blue, and gray lines. The fuck does this stuff mean? Hell if I know. Well, Junpei put the wet tile into his pocket. He was about to turn away when there was a noise behind him.
What the?
He spun around to see Seven kneeling on the floor. His face was rigid and pale. Droplets of sweat covered his forehead.
Hey, what's going on? Are you okay, man? You're sweating like crazy. Are you all right?
He was concerned. He'd never seen Seven like this before. Slowly, the other man lifted himself to his feet on shaky legs.
Yeah, I'm fine. Just got a little dizzy, that's all.
His face was pale and his breathing was heavy. Sweat was pouring off his face and staining his shirt.
That's definitely more than just a little dizzy. Are you sure? You don't look so good.
Seven didn't answer. Half of his face was twisted, as if distorted by extreme pain, and his eyes were glazed. Finally, he spoke.
What am I doing here?
Huh?
His words made no sense.
What are you talking about? We opened the number 2 door and walked in here. Don't tell me you forgot.
No, that's not what I mean.
He shook his head several times, as if trying to clear something from it.
It ain't much, but I think some of my memories came back. I think I've been here before.
Huh?
I said I've been in this room before.
You were here? When? Why?
Aoi, like Nona.
Suddenly, Seven was mumbling to himself. They were words Junpei didn't understand. Seven's hoarse voice trailed off, and Junpei couldn't make out what he'd said.
What the hell was that?
Seven's brow furrowed furiously, and he ground his teeth back and forth.
It's right there. I feel like I'm this close to remembering everything, but I just can't.
Seven stopped, frustrated. He pulled his hat off and ran a hand through his hair. Then suddenly he looked up, his eyes wide.
That's right, an experiment. There was some kind of experiment going on this ship.
An experiment? What sort of experiment?
They were trying to control people. Or something like that.
What the hell are you talking about?
Junpei didn't know what to make of Seven's story. Instead, he simply stared as Seven continued.
Aoi, Light, and Nona. Those were their names. Well, some of them. The kids that were in the experiment, I mean. I think there were 4 or 5 more, but I don't remember all their names. Yeah, that's right. That's why I'm here.
Seven began to mumble to himself and wander aimlessly about the room. He looked confused. So far as Junpei could tell, the man was simply rambling, and there were odd twitches to his movements.
Experiment. Cradle Pharmaceuticals.
Shit! Playing Resident Evil!
Those kidnapped kids. Was I working that case?
You're a cop? Seven continued to mumble to himself about things that meant nothing to Junpei.
Huh?
Junpei didn't have any answers for him, of course. He couldn't understand what was happening to Seven. All he could do was wait. After a few minutes, Seven finally stopped.
Wait, under this bed.
He crouched down and looked under the bed. His face registered mild surprise, and he began to mumble to himself again.
The home's gone? No, maybe it was a different room. There's gotta be a ton of rooms on this boat that look just like this one.
I mean, probably. At last, Junpei could contain himself no longer.
Hey, what exactly do you remember? Maybe you could stop talking like a crazy person and tell me what's going on here.
Yeah. Seven stood up slowly.
Well, it's not like I really remember everything. I've only got bits and pieces, and they're scattered and don't make much sense.
I don't care. Tell me the bits and pieces then.
Did you make it feel it? Whatever Seven had remembered, it was important. Very important.
Okay.
Seven drew a large, muscled hand down across his face. As he wiped the sweat from his brow, he spoke.
From what I can remember, I think I was a cop.
Okay.
A cop?
Yeah. I was looking for that group of kids that got kidnapped 9 years ago. You remember that, right? It was all over the news.
Yeah, I was still in school. I don't remember all the details, but I do remember some of it. I think it was a bunch of kids right around my age. They all just disappeared. Nobody knew why.
Oh no.
It was all over TV and the newspapers every day. So you're saying you were investigating it?
Yeah, that's what it looks like. I guess I found something. There was this medical company called Cradle Pharmaceuticals that had something to do with those kids. After I figured that out, I managed to get some information out of somebody who worked for them. I think it was...
Tonight, a ship is set to take the children to a large passenger liner docked offshore.
Yeah, that had to been it. That's why I went to the wharf. From the shadows, I searched the harbor until I found the ship he was talking about. There was a bunch of movement near it. Men in black suits, many of them were carrying large bags. Bags. There was something about the way they moved as they were carried. No doubt about it. There were human beings in those bags. I moved before I realized it. I came out of hiding, my gun already in my hand. Don't move. I felt metal touch the back of my head. Drop the gun. He kept digging the cold metal thing into my skull. There was nothing I could do. I did what he said and laid my gun on the ground. Then suddenly, there was a sharp pain in my neck. A needle. A drug? That was my last thought. My face hit cold concrete. I was out like a light after that.
Oh no.
I woke up on a hard floor. Damn it. Shit, my head hurts.
Oh, whoops. My mouse is just slowly moving up there.
Where am I? A small, shabby bed, a dirty sink, a toilet with no privacy. I'd seen it countless times as a cop. I'm in a cell, huh? Facing the toilet was a door set into the wall. It was still pretty woozy, but I made my way over to it. I pushed and pulled on it, but... it won't open. Not like I expected much else. It would be dumb enough to put me in a cell and leave it unlocked. Threw myself against the door a few times, but it wouldn't budge. I knew it. I gave up and made my way back to the bed, and sat down. I sat there for a very, very long time. Who knows how long. Then, I heard a faint voice. The voice was far away. I couldn't understand what it was saying. But I could hear one. It was pretty high, probably a little kid. Huh? No, it was several. I hear 5, or 6, maybe more. Where? Where are they coming from? I pressed my ear to the wall and tried to listen through it. No, that's not it. Left. It's coming from under the bed. I hauled on the metal frame and flipped the thing over. And there it was. The bed had hidden an air vent under it. The hole in the wall was covered by a metal grate. I dropped flat on the floor and peered through the grate. I couldn't see shit, but I knew it in my gut. This was where those voices were coming from. Hold up. Why are there kids here? But then what my inside man told me popped into my head.
Tonight, a ship is set to take the children to a large passenger liner docked offshore.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Am I on that ship? It didn't matter. All I knew was I had to get to those kids. I checked out the metal grate. Could I fit? I stuck my fingers in and grabbed it. And then...
Thank you for showing me the picture of the toilet while he does that.
Yeah! How do you like that, you son of a bitch? I finally got the damn thing off. Sweat was dripping down my face, so I wiped it off and crawled inside.
It's a big air vent. Junpei waited for Seven to resume his story. The longer he waited, however, the clearer it became that Seven had no intention of doing so. He had gone silent and simply stared off into the air, his eyes blank.
Hey, what happened after that?
He'd waited long enough, but Seven shook his head.
I don't remember what happens after that. I think I found some kind of door out of the duct. And I think I found some kids, too. Not good. Why can't I remember what happened next?
Ah, man, what happened to the kids, Seven? Did you save them?
I don't know. I don't know if it was me. I've got this feeling. I think one of the kids died. A girl, I think.
Huh?
Deep in his heart, Junpei felt something very cold. Seven's head dropped, and Junpei saw on it a look of sadness the likes of which he had never seen on the man before. The large man's eyes blinked rapidly as if he were fighting back tears, and he swallowed hard. His sigh was like the melancholy setting of an old abandoned building. He shook his head and spoke.
Anyway, just please don't ask me anymore, okay? I really don't remember anything else.
After that, Junpei could hardly try to force any answers out of the other man.
It's fine. Don't push yourself. Going by what he said?
Junpei left Seven to pull himself together and instead began thinking everything over.
The children who had been kidnapped 9 years before, apparently a company called Cradle Pharmaceuticals had been behind it all. They'd taken the children to the same ship we're on now. They'd been brought here for an experiment. Seven said it had something to do with controlling human beings. The 16 children who had been kidnapped were the subjects. Seven had said 3 of their names were Aoi, Light, and Nona. I think that's all I got. Oh, and Seven is, or was at some point, a cop. I can't really use any of this information anyway. I didn't learn anything about the Nonary game or Zero. Why were we brought to the same ship where they'd done those experiments 9 years ago? And just what the heck is this about controlling human beings? That's nuts. Did they really conduct an experiment like that?
Before long, Junpei realized he had spent quite some time deep in thought.
I'm just stand here thinking. I need to get moving.
Yeah. Junpei shook his head quickly to clear it and returned to his investigation, thoughts swirling in his mind. Okay, well, we got a tile, and if that vent wasn't in this room... Can I look under it? No. Alright, I'm gonna check for another room. In the other room, the river and the spring went together to solve the puzzle. Whoops. Does that mean there might be a similar puzzle with this mirror? Well, there's nothing else here apart from the mirror. Maybe I just need to pair something with this mirror. I mean, not that I think it's a particularly good idea, but you can put the towel on it. There's a mirror in the back of this room hung opposite this one. The only difference between them is whether or not they're reflecting any light. Oh. I can just barely see a mirror from the light coming through the ceiling. Sure be nice if that mirror was a little lower down. Looks like it's the same height as the mirror on the right. Wonder if that means anything. Oh, shit. Well, hang on. Let me check the sink first. It's a sink. There's no light shining on it. It's hard to be sure because it's so dark in here, but I don't think there's anything going on with this sink. Faucet's too hard to turn, and I can't look down in it. Light's barely enough to see by. I feel like I'm gonna see a ghost here or something. It's a blanket. Not really a great one, but still. What's the deal with the lighting here? There's just this one beam of light. The rest of the place is too dark. I can't see anything. There's no way we can explore the rest of this room. Well, buddy. Oh yeah, we can probably use this mirror to reflect the light. Now I just gotta figure out where to reflect the light. Maybe if I go somewhere that's a little easier to shine light on. What? Pretty pointless to bother examining it. When I shine light on the mirror in the back... Whoa, what? Is that a number? So if I shine light on this mirror, then I get to see some numbers. I can see a 4 on the left and a 7 on the right. I get it. If I shine light on a mirror, symbols appear. Left side has a sun and the right side has a moon. I'm gonna remember this. Okay, so 4 corresponds to the sun, 7 corresponds to the moon, perhaps. Fascinating. Toilet paper. It's still white enough for me to know what it is, even in the dark. There's nothing out of the ordinary about it. It says 14 equals hexadecimal again. It's hexadecimal again. Hologram, what is up? Your parsnips. Oh no, were you playing Stardew Valley? Oh no. It's funny, every one of you, by the way, hi everyone, I think I know all of you, so hi. Every time I read my parsnips, I think of Avatar: The Last Airbender. My cabbages! Oh man, welcome Hologram, thank you for the raid. Welcome everyone, we're playing a crazy puzzle game and I'm trying to figure it out. It's a blind run, so I don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, that's what we're doing, we're solving puzzles and shit, but welcome everyone. Let me chug this real quick, hang on. Oh, I don't block links, feel free to post whatever. Okay, so I think I saw 14 in red somewhere else. Was it on something I'm carrying around with me? Yeah, the tile. That would imply hexadecimal though. Yeah, make sure you drop. I have a tab in Discord that says stream clips. Feel free to drop it there. I can just barely make out the string for the toilet, but I can get a hold of it. Damn it, it kind of pisses me off. I can see it, but I can't touch it. Okay. Yeah, I figure that is relevant, but looks like a dirty toilet, but it's too dark to tell. Oh man. This mirror is probably here to reflect opposite what's from it. It's nice to see the sink lit up, I guess, but all it shows me is the pipe. Nothing special about this toilet paper. I don't really need to think I need to bother shining any light on it. Well, I don't know. Oh, man. Oh, poor parsnips, though. I can't wait to check that out. I feel like I'm missing some. Oh yeah, okay, hang on. God damn it, no matter how much no matter how hard I pull on this damn thing, it won't budge. Guess I won't be opening this anytime soon. Doesn't look like it's got a keyhole in there. Doesn't seem to be anything stopping it. How the hell am I supposed to open it? I don't know. Isn't anywhere I can use this towel. Why the hell did I bring this thing with me? Okay, well here's the red 14. This equals E, but I don't know how that's significant. Bunch of weird lines on the tile thing. I don't get this. I don't think I can figure this one out on my own. Interesting. And there's still that. I haven't found a slot for that yet. Huh. I don't think I've ever had a parsnip before. Desk is old and rusty. Drawer that doesn't open. There's a simple chair over where the light doesn't shine. There are a bunch of tiles on the door that spell out emergence. Emergence? Maybe it means we need to emerge out of here. Huh. Oh, now you guys are making me hungry. I want to try some parsnips. Probably means to emerge or to escape from here. Do we need to do something with these tiles to open the door? Well, it won't let me, so apparently I don't have what I need yet. There's a door in the back. I wonder where it goes. I thought of that and I tried a couple things, but yeah, same result. Guess 7 was about to do anything. Ah, well. Okay, so... Huh. So what am I missing here? Hang on. I already took the drawer out of this desk. I was gonna put a different one in. Wait! Sounded like something falling. What was that? I heard it too. Let's open the drawer. Well, shit. They're exactly the same. 14 equals E. Have you taken a close look at the tile, Junpei? I noticed that the 3 red lines here are actually on top of the other lines. I already see that. The red lines. Yeah, I see that, but... Junpei, did you notice this? The red lines. Don't they look like they form a 14? Yeah, yes, I'm aware of this. So these tiles mean E. Huh. Yeah, E is 14 for hexadecimal. That was my original thought. I don't think there's anything else going on with this desk. Can I take this drawer back with me? No. Puzzle solved it for that. What about that other one, though? The one I can't open in this room? There's gonna be some way to open it, and I imagine it'll have another tile in it. Wonder if I could combine the tiles. Well, that's not what I meant to do, but why not? Okay. So I still have the mirror. Wonder what the 4s and the 7s mean. And why it's significant. Yeah, I see that. It's nice to see the sink lit up, I guess, but all it shows me is the pipe. I really feel like I'm missing something here. Something with the towel, I'm sure. Drawing on the mirror is just like part of the image on the towel. The towel has a river and a spring, is it? This mirror has a river on it. It's indicating this sink, then... I figured that out by accident. Symbol's telling us to make the water flow from this side. Yeah, I figured that out by accident. Is the drain clogged? It looks like a lot of the water isn't draining out of the sink. Here's the towel in the sink. Damn it. the same moon symbol we saw in that dark room. Right, there was a number there too, right? Probably how many times you're supposed to flush. How many... Oh. Okay. So this is what the moon symbol is pointing to. Probably made it so someone wouldn't trigger by accident if that's the case. Did you hear something? I heard a loud flushing noise. No, not that. This toilet is disgusting. You don't expect me to touch that thing, do you? If you don't want to, then I'll do it, alright? Toilet is vile. Unsurprisingly, Lotus refused to go anywhere near it. Okay, but... I refuse to touch this. I refuse. What the hell's wrong with you? I don't want to touch it, ever. Okay, well, let me do it. Very, very old toilet. Apparently, Lotus refuses to touch it, ever. What do you want from me? I want to know what that clicking noise was. Half-used toilet paper. Well, it's old. Yeah, I know, but maybe I have to do the other one at the same time? Or, you know. The only thing you manipulate is in the room is that string. Chances are they made this puzzle so someone wouldn't trigger it by accident. There it is again. It makes some kind of weird sound when I pull on that string. Same thing happened in the other room. That means, I don't know, I think it's a little suspicious. The other room gave us a hint to figure this one out. The room next door is just like this one, so that leaves the dark room. Okay. Did that open the drawer, maybe? More tiles. 4 of them. 4 E's. Wait. Looks like we've investigated all the rooms. The only mystery left is that door that conveniently has 4 E's in it. Ooh, you're sneaky. Yeah, a bunch of tiles that are the same size on the wall here. So we replaced 4 tiles on the wall with ones we've got. That should open the door, I hope. Did you just hear something unlock? Does that mean we got it right? Yeah! Jacob wins! If you convert that to hexadecimal, it's an E. Basically, the E's and emergence are the 14s from the tiles. So to replace it, that gives the answer. Do you really care why it worked? Just get the fuck out of here. Yeah! I did it. Yeah. Yeah. They passed through the open door and headed to the next room. Junpei jogged down the short staircase and looked around.
Oh, what the hell is this place?
I mean, cool. Thank you for the gift sub, Larry. Enjoy that, Wolf. Do you want to keep the 5 or you want to let Wolf pick where the 5 goes? Totally up to you. Damn, Larry. Way to go, dude. Hey, what the hell is this place? The words had sprung unbidden to his lips, but it was clear why. Junpei shivered. Lotus and 7 reached the bottom of the stairs and stopped short, terrified.
Ugh, this room is really creepy.
No, but I thought I'd ask anyway.
I think we ought to get the hell out of here now.
So, Wolf, that gives you 5. If you want to put that any of the scrolling stuff, you're more than welcome to do so. He jogged up the stairs on the opposite side of the room and shook the door on the wall next to the catwalk. Of course it's locked. It didn't open, and he muttered to himself. Yeah.
It's locked.
Another puzzle room.
Yep. Don't know why I thought this would be any different.
So, what is this room for, anyway?
Oh, Blibber, that sounds delicious. Heavy Rain. You got it. Let me update that for you real quick. That puts Heavy Rain in the lead, interestingly enough. Junpei looked around the room again.
Well, there's a chair in the center of the room.
Have a seat.
Looks uncomfortable, to say the least.
Yeah.
I'd rather not sit in it if I can avoid it.
Same. The back of it was covered with electrodes connected to a nest of
Looks like it's
wires.
placed over some kind of glass panel. Too dark to look through it, though.
But this symbol looks like the Earth symbol with an extra X through it. There's a table covered with a piece of cloth.
This isn't dried blood on the tablecloth, is it?
It's a little brown, but it might be. On top of the table are a number of metal instruments. Junpei didn't know what they were for, and he had a feeling he didn't want to find out.
Oh, what the hell is this?
Ew.
What are these tools for?
That's not something I even want to think about.
Junpei shook his head in an attempt to clear it and tried to focus on something else.
No doubt about it. This room's dangerous.
Yeah, I
Let's
don't like
make our
this room
search
either.
quick so we can solve the puzzle and get the hell out of here.
Agreed.
Come on.
Here we go. From one puzzle room immediately to another one. Honestly, this looks like a torture room to me. Okay, Larry, I just want to make sure you know that was a tier 2 sub. Just want to make sure you know that, buddy. Just want to make sure you know that. But thank you! Blibber, that gives you 10 to play with. What do you want to do with that 10? Larry's at it again. You know, Larry, there's a button you can click now where you can just do a bunch at once, right? This room's small, though. Alright, what's up with the chair? A really creepy chair. The manacles make me think it was used to torture people. Well, we can't open these manacles without a key. There's some sort of weird symbol on them. What kind of symbol? Oh, I got this right. I think it's the sun symbol. Manacles are still locked in place. They've got a sun symbol engraved on them. There's something on the screen. This device will conduct the experiment. Once the experiment has been completed, the door will unlock. Alright, Blibber. First, adjust the switches to match the blocks in the sample above. What? I don't know what this thing is. We gotta figure out this puzzle. It's right next to a torture chair. Whatever it is, I don't think it's good. Anyway, we just adjust the switches to match the blocks up on top, right? You adjust the switches shown at the four corners of the screen, then press the check button. Jimmy, we don't know what this thing does. You can always come back to it later. There are lots of other things you could do. What the fuck? What is all this? What the fuck is this? None of them are exactly right. Right? Yeah, okay. They're all so damn close. Haha. I can't help but wonder if it doesn't appear to be order-based. Interesting. This is odd. In the foot of an arrow. Damn. This is nasty. I think I just tried almost, if not every combination. Whenever you turn one of these switches, more blocks show up on the screen. So I think you gotta figure out which buttons you have to press in order to get the screen to match the diagram. Yeah, if you want to see how many blocks each switch adds, just turn on one switch. When all of them are off, there aren't any blocks, right? Then you can see how many each switch adds. Yeah, okay. But what diagram? The blocks on top. Which blocks on top? You just want the top to match the bottom. So it's just, so it's like two separate things, not all four. That's interesting. So just the first switch, that one matches up. It's when we add in the other shit that stuff gets complicated. Oh man, that's nasty. Because it's always all so close. Interesting. I mean, I could brute force it, just like I was doing before I knew what the fuck to do. It wouldn't actually be that hard. No, Larry, because subs are tied to a completely different algorithm, and they don't pull from the same place for that role, so it doesn't. You should just use bits for that. I don't even know what to talk about. What is that? It's super easy. That is. Oh. I didn't want to click the hint button because I didn't want. Oh man, that's so dumb. Okay, which was the... Okay, all bottom left. I can't believe you have to hit the hint button for that. It shouldn't use the word hint there. It should not use hint. It should use other puzzle or something. I have no idea. No, Larry. What I mean is for the super supporter role. If you're wanting to get the super supporter role, it's bits or money because subs won't work for that. Adjustment is completed. Now proceeding to execution phase. To complete the experiment, data must be collected from the subject. Once preparation is finished, place subject in chair. Whoa, I thought we solved the puzzle already. What does it mean by preparation? I don't know. I have a bad feeling about this. I think this means one of us has got to sit in the chair. Well, 7's never gonna fit in the thing. It's either you or me, Junpei. Collecting data. I wonder if it's gonna run electricity through the subject. There's a human head on the screen. Maybe it's gonna zap the brain with a little electricity? This really doesn't sound safe. Anyway, we still got to prepare. We can talk about this after we figured out what it means by preparation, alright? Well, it wants us to prepare, so maybe we ought to ask it what we need to do. Error, the disposal tank is closed. Please fill tank with water. What tank? Oh man, don't tell me we gotta do something with a water tank. There's probably something around here to open the tank or whatever it's asking us to do. Looks like the only controls are in this room. So you want me to open up a tank and put water in it? The floor is glass. Do you think it's really safe to have a chair here? Well, you can tell just by standing on it. The glass is pretty damn thick. Don't you think it's a little strange that only this part is glass? A chair looks pretty heavy all by itself. Glass could be dangerous. We'd be in some serious trouble if that glass broke. Probably shouldn't walk on it. Red, yellow. You think these colors mean something? I don't know. I mean, red looks more dangerous, but other than that, the bottom of this one looks like it's covered in rust. I don't think it'll move at all. You mean that one? Nope, no dice. This thing isn't going anywhere. Oh, give me that. You just ain't man enough. Sure, pal, you give it a shot. Let's see how much more of a man you are. Hey, you're gonna break it. Man, that thing ain't going anywhere. These levers have got to turn something on. Of course they would. All they could do is turn something on or off. What's important is what they turn on or off. Don't say the floor is gonna suddenly open up. I can see some oil or something down there at the base of the lever. Yeah, it feels like it's got some movement to it. Should be able to pull this one. Is that water? What the hell? What's going on? Will you calm down? It's just water going somewhere. Sounds like it's underneath us. That means the floor... Oh! Junpei, look! Oh, damn, I can see through the glass now. That is a dead shark. Hey, Crystal. Pretty good. What the fuck? Guess the shark was someone's pet, huh? That's a bit of a surprise. You die on the chair, you get dumped into the water, and he cleans up the mess. Convenient. There are a couple of letters in the color of blood written on the shark's belly. It's dead. Looks like the letters are E, D, B, and F. Whatever these are for has to be in this room somewhere. The only thing in the water is the dead shark. Why is it so fucking green, though? E, D, B, and F. Bunch of buttons here with A through F. E. Okay. Guess these buttons switch something on or off when you push them. What? There's a strange noise coming from the chair. It looks like it's been turned on. I guess the puzzle here was that power had to be sent in a specific way. 7 can't move it, might as well give up on that lever. Well, there's power in the chair now. The restraining device is locked but empty. The subject has not been properly placed. Unlock the restraining device and reseat subject. Well, that means the chair, which involves the sun symbol in some way. Guess we just need to unlock the chair. Yeah, which, again, the manacles are still locked in place. They've got a sun symbol engraved on them. All right. What about over here? Oh, okay, whatever. I thought there was a hole here, but I guess it's got a cover over it. You aren't gonna be able to get that off. It's bolted on there pretty good. Maybe there's something around here we can use to get that thing off there. Can you see anything in there? If you can't see anything, I don't really think we need to bother with trying to open it. It's too dark to see anything. Did I see something shiny in there? I don't know, did you? Yeah, well, maybe. We ought to check, though. It'd be pretty bad if we missed something important. Maybe we can find something to take that cover off with. Yeah, well, I mean, there is a thing of tools over here, so... A number of rusty torture tools are all lined up here. I don't think there's anything else here we need. Yeah. Right. Anyway. Cover's bolted. Should be able to get those bolts off with this wrench, though. Sweet, it's open. The hole's too small. You can't see in, even with the cover off. Well, you can't see in, but there's enough room to stick your arm in. Are you sure you want to do that? Are you sure you want to do that? There could be something dangerous in there. All right, I admit that scares me a little, but we need to see if there's anything useful in there. All right, here we go, arm into the hole. Hey, I think I can feel something. It's small, cold, and hard. Doesn't feel like there's anything else in here. All right. Excellent. Wow, I wonder if that works on other things too. Doors and such. Like if we find a sun door somewhere. Maybe it's Mountain Dew. Ew. Sun key should open this. Good. Sun key, in you go. And boom. Great, they're open. I don't think we're gonna need the sun key again in here, though. Just seems unlikely. All right, you done your job. Into my pocket with you. The restraining device is unlocked. Please seat subject in device. A message on the screen was disturbingly detached.
Well, like we thought, it's not going to work unless someone sits in it.
How ironic that this would be the situation in which this slim, beautiful body is useful.
Lotus, are you sure? I can sit in it and you can solve.
Junpei's right. If we screw it up...
Seven couldn't bring himself to finish the thought. His eyes fell to the floor. Junpei followed them. Beneath them was the dead shark floating underneath the glass. Perhaps it had been killed by an electric shock.
I'll be fine. Even if I fall in, the shark is already dead.
But...
No one likes an indecisive man, Junpei. I can still give you advice from the chair too, you know.
It's
I
fair.
just don't want to stay in this room any longer than we have to. Go over to that screen and let's get this over with.
After her words had made it clear that Lotus would book no argument, she turned and walked toward the chair without hesitation. But she did not sit down. Despite what she had said, she did indeed feel hesitation. Her legs shook.
Look, do you think you could do me one last favor?
Don't say last.
You're making me nervous.
Just listen. If something happens to me, I want you to tell my daughters. Tell them that I loved them very much. No, tell them that I will always love them.
Daughters?
You've got kids?
Yes, I do. I suppose they're about your age, Junpei.
How old are you?
They're twins. I had them when I was young after... well, some things happened.
Junpei's 21. If they're 21, let's say she had him when she was, let's say 16. I mean, good God. I mean, she's 30. She's fucking hot for 37.
Their names are Nona and...
Wait. Nona?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Hey, Sonic. Hi. Welcome to Shit's Getting Real. What is up, my dude? How, friendship nuke? I would, again, guess Yu-Gi-Oh! Probably. He remembered the story Seven had told him.
Aoi, Light, and Nona. Those were their names. Well, some of them. The kids that were in the experiment.
But what the hell? What's wrong with you?
Lotus took a step back from Junpei.
Oh,
Seven looked just as shocked as Junpei. Oh, chain of memories. How's that going? He blinked his eyes rapidly as if he weren't sure if he was completely awake.
no way. It couldn't. Lotus, is your last name Kashiwabara?
Lotus's eyes went wide.
How do you know that?
Are you serious? What the hell is this? There's no way you're that kid's mom.
That kid? Wait, what do you mean that kid? Why are you acting like you've met her?
Seven's brow furrowed.
I have.
What?
Yeah, I met one of your kids.
When?
9 years ago.
Where?
On this ship.
Why were you...
It's not a short story.
Look, I don't care how long it is. Tell me, please, what happened here?
Fine, I'll tell you.
Seven glanced at Junpei, then turned back to Lotus and began to speak. It was the same story Junpei had heard only minutes before. Every detail.
But... And then, that was when. From there, it looked like... Just as if, finally... That's all I remember from 9 years ago.
Oh, you're almost done with the game? Nice, Sonic. I've never played Chain of Memories. I just know about the card game stuff. At last, Seven finished. Lotus shook her head.
Oh my god. Everything I've been looking for. For the last 9 years. The person who had all the answers was right here.
Looking for?
Yes, that's right. 9 years ago, my daughters disappeared. Then 9 days later, they came back. They never told me what happened to them over those 9 days. I took them to the doctor, but I was told they hadn't been hurt in any way. Still, I was sure that they had been through something terrible.
9 years ago, gone for 9 days.
So I couldn't bring myself to force them to talk about it. If I did, then I'd force them to relive whatever horrors they'd been through. I didn't have any choice. I had to try and ignore it and move on.
Oh.
A few months passed. Gradually, they started to act like they always had, before they disappeared. They smiled and made jokes and did all the silly things kids do. It got harder and harder for me to ask them about what happened. How could I ask them to remember that? Eventually, I knew there was no way I could do it. But I'm still a mother. I couldn't simply forget that something terrible had happened to my children. So I decided I would investigate what happened on my own. I would find out what happened during those 9 missing days.
What did you find out?
Nothing. The police pretended to be concerned, but they didn't do anything. Once the 16 children who'd gone missing came back, things were just... Even the media didn't talk about what had happened. I figured someone was probably paying or threatening them to keep their mouths shut.
Cradle Pharmaceuticals. No, probably something even bigger than that.
Cradle Pharmaceuticals.
Have you heard of them before?
No. It's the first time I've ever heard that name. 7. How did you find out that Cradle Pharmaceuticals was connected to the kidnappings in the first place?
I figured finding out whatever the victims had in common would lead me to the culprit. That's what any good cop does.
What did they have in common?
Every single one of the kids who disappeared had gone to this one hospital at some point. The hospital was one of a bunch that were under the control of Cradle Pharmaceuticals. After that, it was just about connecting the dots.
The hospital.
The hospital.
For a while, I was trying to get some kind of information out of the kids at the hospital. One of them told a weird story.
What was it?
Have you heard about the Gansfeld experiment? I guess all these kids had to go through it while they were at the hospital. I think it was passed off as some sort of counseling.
What did you call it again?
Oh, the Gansfeld experiment. This is how it's set up. First, subjects Q and A are put into separate rooms, far away from one another. Then a series of video images are shown to subject Q, who is told to send the images to Subject A by thinking about them. Subject A, on the other hand, is put in a large reclining chair and given a blindfold. With their senses cut off, A is asked to guess what images Q is looking at.
Oh, yes, I've heard of that. It's a famous telepathy experiment, isn't it?
Telepathy.
We had this conversation, well, something like this conversation before.
That's how the experiment on this ship was supposed to work.
The experiment to control people, right?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Thank you for the 85 bits, Larry. Appreciate it.
I don't know if any of the telepathy stuff really exists, but maybe someone from Cradle Pharmaceuticals bought into it.
Seven had been thinking hard for the last several minutes and finally spoke.
Even if that is the case, I still don't get how that has anything to do with any of this. The notary game, Zero, why we were kidnapped. What does any of that have to do with telepathy? I know I brought all this up, but I have no idea. Maybe none of this stuff is connected after all.
Oh, you know it's connected. In that moment of silence, a cold voice echoed down from the ceiling.
No subject has been detected. Unless a subject is detected within 60 seconds, all power will be shut down.
Well, guess somebody's getting in the chair right
System
now.
recovery is estimated to take 1 hour. If you wish to proceed with the experiment, please see subject on restricted device.
Wow, Larry. All right, Sonic, you've got 5 more to play with now. Since since Larry gifted you some, it's totally up to you what you want to throw that 5 toward.
Whoa, that doesn't sound good.
Damn it, Larry.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going.
Oh, no, that's not what we...
Just hurry up and get it over with. Junpei, I'm counting on you.
Right.
Junpei looked at her one last time, then made his way to the monitor.
Lotus, please, tell me right away if you feel anything weird.
You worry too much. Now get on with it and be a man, or June's gonna leave you.
Lotus was putting on the best act she could manage, but her legs were shaking so much that if she hadn't been sitting, she likely would have fallen down.
Lotus.
Failure was not acceptable.
Okay, let's do this.
Junpei took one last deep breath and stared at the monitor. Honestly, Squid, anymore? That's not really uncommon. What the fuck? What the fuck? Huh? Huh? What's that do on the backside? Doesn't do anything. Well, back here it doesn't. Oh! Oh, God! Oh, God! Interesting. Both of those are right, but the backside isn't. Oh. Okay. The experiment has concluded. The door will now unlock. I can hear the door unlocking. And now we've got a new message. Release subject from restraining device. Lotus, are you dead? Yeah, I'm fine. I'm glad nothing bad happened, but I do think my life just got a little shorter. Hold on, I'll get you out. Shouldn't take long for Seven and me to get her out of here. Let's get out of here now. Being a guinea pig is not for me. Damn straight. I don't ever want to see this thing again.
The hallway goes to the left.
Yeah, but I don't see any doors.
Guess we just need to keep going.
Right. Let's go.
It turned left twice before they saw the elevator.
An elevator.
Well, I certainly hope we have the Saturn keycard.
Just what we need. Let's take this to C-Deck.
In silence, they jogged up to it. Junpei pushed the C button. Oh, I guess it's active. The elevator motor ground away, and before long they found themselves once again on C-Deck. The door opened, and they stepped off.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Did we just make a giant circle for no reason whatsoever? Junpei, Lotus, and Seven nodded at one another and took off running down the long hallway in front of them. Sure, we did get the sun key, you're right. They ran and ran and ran. The hallway seemed endless.
I know where we need to go. The door behind the central staircase. There was a sun symbol on the keyhole of that door. And I happen to have the sun key in my pocket right now. This should open that door.
Hell yeah. This was why they ran for the central staircase. They had run for quite some time when they arrived at the door that ended the hallway. The Jupiter door was already unlocked. Yeah. Junpei grabbed hold of the doorknob and threw it open. They rushed through and stopped cold.
What?
The terrible scene before them made their blood run cold. What? Fucking what?
Why?
Junpei felt a cold sweat trickle down his spine. He couldn't breathe. His legs shook. His body felt cold, deathly cold. But his blood was boiling hot. He could feel his mind begin to fade. He couldn't think. He couldn't concentrate. His mind was blank.
What the hell? What the hell happened?
Seven's voice was weak and broken. He edged toward the bodies, his movements stiff.
Clover.
He bent down over Clover and pressed his fingers to her wrist.
Nothing.
Oh my god. Suddenly, Lotus moved. Before he understood what was happening, her hand was in Junpei's vest pocket.
Hey, what are you doing?
He leapt back. Lotus looked up at him, terrified.
The key. Get me the sun key.
Why?
Why do you think? We have to get out of here before the murderer comes back.
The murderer?
The murderer. Once again, Junpei looked at the dead bodies.
Santa, Clover, and Ace. 3 people, 3 dead bodies. That means that the person who had killed them was... No. No, it can't be true.
Give it to me!
Before Junpei could react, Lotus dove back into his pocket and came out with the key.
Let's go!
Without waiting for Seven or Junpei, she ran straight for the central staircase. They followed. Junpei shut his eyes and swallowed his emotions. Morning would have to wait. Soon they stood in front of the door.
Open!
Lotus shoved the sun key in the hole and twisted it hard. But
Why?
What happened?
Nothing. Nothing happened. I didn't feel it unlock.
Oh no. Is it the wrong key?
I don't know. Maybe.
Lotus sighed, defeated, and leaned against the doorknob. She felt it twist. Oh. A small gap appeared between the door and the frame.
It's open.
What the hell is this?
Wait, you mean the door was already unlocked?
Why?
How would I know that? Whatever, let's just go.
Lotus took a deep breath and slowly opened the door the rest of the way. They stepped inside. In front of them was another hallway. They stretched out toward the bow of the ship. They began to run. Faster and faster they ran, trying desperately to reach the end of the hallway. A few seconds later, they were there. In front of them stood a massive metal door. They were all breathing heavily as Junpei spoke.
What the hell is this door? I can't see anything that looks like a doorknob or switch or lever or card reader or anything. How the fuck are we supposed to open this?
We don't have a choice. We're gonna have to go back.
No, I'm not going back there. There is a murderer back there.
There was more stark terror in Lotus's voice than authority. She was almost begging.
But I don't see any other doors.
As he spoke, Seven stepped toward the door in front of them, as if to illustrate that it was the only door.
No way.
It opened by itself.
It's an automatic door?
Look, guys, I've got a really bad feeling about all this.
Same.
The other doors were already unlocked, and this one's automatic. We haven't seen anything like this before.
Bad feeling.
How could their situation possibly get worse? 3 people were already dead. 5 people were already dead.
We've hit bottom. This can't get any worse. Shit!
Hey, Junpei!
He stepped through the door.
I can't take this anymore. No one can.
And whatever hope Junpei had managed to summon disappeared.
No. It's a lie. It's gotta be. This can't be real. No. It's impossible. If it's a dream, just wake up already. Someone please tell me it's all just a joke. I'm imagining things. Yep, that's it. This is all obviously a lie. It's a big, elaborate trick. An illusion or something. Or a dream. It's made up.
It wasn't real, right? June. No, the code names meant nothing now. Canny?
Connie!
Junpei cried out and leapt through the door. He flew to her side, his heart like a stone in his chest.
Connie, hang on.
Junpei swept her up and shook her by the shoulder. She moaned and her eyes fluttered open, but only barely.
Connie!
Jumpy?
Her face was pale and her lips were dry and cracked. Her eyes were blank and cloudy. They stared straight at Junpei, but saw nothing. Junpei put his hand against the small of her back to hold her up. It felt warm and wet. He lifted his hand up. It was covered in blood.
Oh man. Connie, there's so much blood. What the hell happened to you? How did this happen?
It was all he could do not to break into tears.
Jumpy, I'm sorry.
Her voice was thin, a minuscule thread that was the only thing keeping her with him.
I might not make it.
No way. No way I am going to let you die. I am going to save you. I promise.
Thank you, Jumpy. Thank you so much for everything. I was really happy to see you again, Jumpy. Really happy.
Don't give me that I was crap. You're gonna see me again lots more times. You just gotta hang on, all right, Connie? You... Ow, what can I do? Damn it!
He looked up from Kane desperately for something. Anything. A submarine? Well,
that?
a submersible, rather. Then he saw it. A small submarine.
Submarine? What on earth is a submarine doing here?
No, that didn't matter. Nothing mattered except saving Kane. That was the only thing he wanted.
That's it!
Junpei turned his head back to look down at her.
Hang on, all right? There's a submarine over there. I'm gonna go see if it works.
No, don't go. Please, don't go. Please, just stay with me, okay? I want to be close to you, Jumpy. When I...
Connie.
Jumpy, did you know you meant a lot to me when we were kids? I've liked you for a long time, Junpei. A really long time.
Junpei's vision had gone blurry. It took him a moment to realize his eyes were filled with tears. He could feel a piercing point of heat deep in his heart, like a white-hot flame.
Jumpy, do you remember we hung out a lot when we were kids? We went to the pool and to the fair. Do you remember playing snowball at the school? They're all memories I'll never forget. All of those moments are treasures to me. But I also wanted to go to a lot of other places with you. A lot more. But that won't happen now.
No. I mean, yes. Yes, it will happen. We'll go all sorts of places, Connie. You hear me? I promise. We'll go wherever you want.
Really?
Yeah, really. I swear.
That makes me happy. Really happy.
She said it to herself over and over, a weak smile creasing her tired face.
I feel sleepy.
No, Connie, don't fall asleep.
Thank you, Jumpy. Thank you so much.
Her eyes were slowly closing. Junpei screamed even as he felt his throat go hoarse.
Connie! Connie! Connie!
Time passed. Junpei wept, curled around Connie's body. He cried and cried until he had no tears left. When the last tear fell, Junpei was no more. His body remained, but only as an empty shell. Somewhere he had heard a bell ring. It was the clock at the central staircase. Five. It rang 5 times, then faded.
5 o'clock.
Quietly, gently, softly, he set her down on the floor. Slowly, Junpei stood. Only then did he realize that Seven and Lotus had not followed him. Where had they gone? Slowly, he looked around the room. There was nothing. No sign that they had ever been there. It felt as though every part of Junpei's body was made of lead. Slowly, he made his way to the door he'd come through. As he approached it, it opened, sliding apart with a sound like grinding stone. Junpei passed through the gate and into the hallway. His heart rattled in his chest, an empty, lifeless thing. It had been so utterly broken that there was nothing left to feel. When he saw their bodies, he simply stared. It was a lake, a sea of blood. 2 bodies lay in it. There was no need to check. There was no breath left in them. His eyes lit on Locust's wrist. Her bracelet. It was gone. He stared. It meant nothing to him. He didn't care anymore. He couldn't care anymore. Junpei's body felt numb. A part of him knew that the lump of lead in his chest had once been a heart. He couldn't quite remember what it had been for. Tears poured from his eyes in great streams. He wasn't sure why. He gave up trying to make them stop. He turned around. The door opened again, and slowly, numbly, he walked through. He kept walking. Why stop? An object set in motion, simple inertia, carried him forward. Eventually, he found himself in front of the submarine. His arm reached for the hatch. And then he was floating in water. His eyes stared down into it. He couldn't see the bottom. His back was hot. Dimly, he felt the blade of a knife in it. Who? One dead body lay behind door number 5, the body of the 9th man. Another lay in the shower room, the body of Snake. At the central staircase were 3 more, Ace, Santa, and Clover. Just outside the door were 2 corpses, those of Seven and Lotus. And in this very room lay the body that had once been Connie. And now Junpei would join them. Who then had killed them all? Who? Junpei let out one last breath. Faintly, he felt the bubbles creep up the side of his face. His consciousness faded quickly, dissolving away into the cold, gentle lapping of the water. No fucking way! Who killed them? Who fucking killed them? I mean, I have to assume it was Zero, but who fucking killed him? Yeah, well, guess what? We are absolutely going through this again to get different endings, because to my knowledge there are 6 endings. So we'll be getting more endings. Optimally, I'd like to see most of them if at all possible. Oh my god! God, no, Larry. Tractor. Touche. Well, that was nuts. I fucking loved it. The end. Or is it? Achievement unlocked. We all die by Yellow Submarine. What an achievement name. You have reached 1 ending. This game has multiple endings. In order to experience all the endings, you need to play through the game multiple times. Make sure to save your progress now to retain all information you've acquired. Memory of Escape has been added to the title screen. Memory of Escape enables you to replay the escape rooms you have completed. Oh. Would you like to save the info you obtained during this playthrough? After saving, the game will restart from the beginning. Please select save slot. Yes. Yes. Oh! Oh! What the fuck? Oh my god, that fucking flowchart. I see. So this path is if I take door 5 instead of 4. And oh whoa. Whatever door that is, fucking does that lock you into that path? Oh wow. Okay, and then each one leads to another separate thing, so whatever this door is, I don't want to go there. Huh. And it looks like this path doesn't matter, but it might matter a bit. Huh. Wow. Damn. The 1, 6, and 2 doors. Fascinating. And then the game just starts over. Wow. Damn. Yeah, okay.
Ow!
Yeah, stop, but stop, stop. Stop.
Ow, Scott!
Stop. Head? Stop. That's not what I meant. Interesting. Can you? Oh, neat. You can warp. That's sick. All right. Well, that'll be good for getting around a lot faster. So that's good. But that said, we're gonna stop here for today. So, yeah, we're gonna play this again tomorrow, and we're gonna take a different path and see if we can get a different ending. Because this is awesome, and I want to find out more. I want to find out so much more about what the fuck's going on. I have so many questions, and I don't even know what order to ask the questions in.